Tony, would you mind calling the roll?
Jimenez, Perales, Dieppe,
Present.
Carrasco,
Present.
Davis,
Here.
Esparza,
Here.
Arenas, Foley,
Here.
Yamas,
Here.
Jones,
Present.
Ricardo.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Item 3.6 are the master agreements with SmartWave, Infinity, and Studio 151. There is no presentation. So let's go to public comment on this item. This is again 3.6, master agreements with SmartWave Technologies, Infinity, and Studio 151 to support community Wi-Fi. Tessa Woodmansee.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Community Wi-Fi. Well, I was just thinking about an associate of mine who's 65 and does not have Wi-Fi or not, to get onto the Zoom meetings. And so I was just thinking about that. That's one thing, is how to get this digital divide to be reduced is really important. And I think that we need to have like some type of technical support so that people can get on the Zoom meetings. That's something to really think about, and so that we have more democracy as part of it. And even your websites, we need a lot of help in our digital democracy in terms of making it more accessible to people, making it easy, even on the website, to find the link. You have to kind of go through a lot of details. It's one little tiny little line that you have to copy and paste. And, it's not, making it as user-friendly as we can to really close this digital divide and to also support our democracy. And then I had another friend who's 80 years old, and she got her smartphone, and I thought that was really great. And so maybe really getting, she got it over at, anyway, she's a low-income senior, and she got a smartphone. So really finding ways that we can know how to find the technology so people, low-income people or seniors, can get smartphones. Like, she got it for free. It was over, anyway, it was over by some low-income program that she got it. And so anyway, getting that digital divide closed and to help with our democracy is really critical. And also making our technology on our websites, to get on our Zoom links of our meetings much more user-friendly. We are the capital of Silicon Valley. It could be much more user-friendly, and really working on that is so important. Thank you.
Thank you. Claire Beekman.
Hi, thank you. This part of SmartWave IoT is working with the East Side and helping connect the digital divide with new Wi-Fi around local high schools. The city government of San Jose also has SmartWave IoT contracts with downtown San Jose as well. And what has actually been called in other Bay Area cities federal mandates to place new 4G and 5G technology in local neighborhoods in this time of COVID-19. It seems everyday people and government of San Jose have sometimes been figuring out together at this time. There may be a system the public and local government can sometimes talk and negotiate if 4G and 5G may be harmful to be placed in certain local San Jose neighborhoods. But the importance of bridging the digital divide, this can be an important time, everyday community from both sides of San Jose, and for downtown too, to begin to learn about new ideas and open public policies, ideas, and practices. This can help with a positive, hopeful community spirit, possibly ways to unite both sides of San Jose. Accountability practices can help everyday people not feel so helpless with their government and institutions, and work towards trusting how the practices of friendly, open democracy can work towards long-term community sustainability. As accountability and openness should also be a part of the important concepts of equity, empowerment, and how to help bridge the digital divide. I've been speaking on these issues for over 5 years now, so I'm pretty dedicated to the ideas of how these ideas can work towards peace, how good democratic practices can work towards peace. I wanted to, from my previous item, public comment, I just wanted to quickly offer that I have serious reservations and concerns of Michelle Flournoy being named the new Defense Secretary of this country, and we need a new ideas of international policy. Biden needs to understand that. Thank you.
Trustee Lorena Chavez, and I just wanted to say before you begin, Trustee, thank you for the partnership that you and your colleagues, the Eastside Union High School District, have provided for this community Wi-Fi effort.
Awesome. Good evening, Mayor Liccardo. Thank you. Appreciate that. The feeling is mutual. Council members, good evening, everyone. First off, I just want to say thank you so much for all of the work that has been done leading up to today. It's been years and a really strong partnership, and it's taken a lot to get here. So want to just reiterate our gratitude. I also want to give a friendly reminder to please keep moving the project as quickly as possible. You know, we're in the middle of COVID, and there's a high need for digital connectivity, especially in our highest needs areas, which we're working on to connect. And we're very grateful that y'all are moving on all of these contracts. And lastly, wanted to say, please don't forget about Mount Pleasant and Silver Creek. Eastside is ready to work on all 5 schools in one phase: Silver Creek, Mount Pleasant, Andrew Hill, Oak Grove, and Independence. Again, looking forward to continuing the strong partnership and really appreciate all the work that has been done thus far. Thank you.
Thank you. Maimona, welcome.
Thank you. Hello, council members, mayor, and staff. My name is Maimona Ufsalberta, Vice President of the Franklin McKinley School Board, special education teacher, and founding member of the Digital Equity Coalition. I also want to echo Trustee Chavez's comments and thank you again for your continued partnership to support and get our families and students the access they need to the internet. I'm also here to, as a friendly reminder that our communities need this community wireless access, and they need it now. They actually needed it yesterday, and they have needed it even more since the shelter in place and this pandemic started. Please keep moving with this partnership as quickly as possible. I'm glad to see the contracts are up, and but we really need to continue to emphasize this project as a priority. And also echoing the comments, Trustee Chavez, for Silver Creek and Mount Pleasant communities, we know that there's some potential additional setbacks, but let's not forget about these communities that have such an immense need immediately for this access. So thank you, and thank you for continuing to prioritize moving forward with this partnership.
Thank you, Trustee, and thank you for your work on the McKinley board. Ms. Huang?
Hello, everyone. My name is Hong Ha Huang. I am a teacher at Andrew Hill High School. Thank you for giving me some time to speak tonight. And first off, I want to thank you all for all the work that has been done up till now. And I want to urge you to keep moving this as quickly as possible. And I'm grateful that we're moving forward with the contracts. Tonight, I want to speak about the importance of internet and everything that you're doing, and to ask you not to forget about Mount Pleasant and Silver Creek communities. From what I know, Eastside High School District is ready to work on all schools in one phase: Silver Creek, Mount Pleasant, Andrew Hill, Oak Grove, and Independence. And I'm here to speak as a teacher. We needed this project done, like many of you have said, yesterday. Every single day I work with students, and so many of them are having connectivity issues. I have many students who drop off from a call or a lesson for 20 to 30 minutes, which is a huge chunk of class. And if we're thinking about this times 6 classes a day, how much instruction students are missing. And I just want to talk about my piece and how important it is for our communities and this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Huang. Thank you for your service for our children. Councilmember Sparta?
Thank you, Mayor, and I'd like to thank the speakers who took the time to speak. I know some of them are doing dual duty between us and the county, and so thank you to all the speakers and the trustees who have been frankly leading this project. It was the school board trustees that brought this to our attention because of the desperate need that they're seeing in the community. And so I had just a couple of questions. And so I also wanted to thank staff for all the departments that have been working on this from the very beginning, because it's been a tremendous process moving this forward. And as you heard from the speakers earlier, we really can't overstate how important these projects are for families in the East Side, many of whom are sharing homes, living in garages, living in situations where they either can't access broadband or because of their living situation, they can't get service in many cases. I had a question about the funding agreement with the school districts. What is the status on that? The memo mentions completion this month. Do we have an update on that? Because it's the maintenance agreement.
Thank you, Matt Kano, Public Works Director, and actually Rajani Nair from, well, formerly the City Manager's Office, now Environmental Services, is here to help with that answer.
Hi, council member. Yes, currently we are in the process of drafting the agreement, and we'll present that to Eastside Union. We have the initial draft. So it's been taking a little bit longer because it's complicated with what we've already done with James Lick, Overfeld, and Yerba Buena, and then what we're planning for the next 5 attendance areas. So we're going to have 2 separate agreements. So we are working through that right now.
Okay, great.
Councilmember, oh, sorry. I just want to add on from a project implementation standpoint, we're assuming those are going to happen and we're getting ready for them. So sorry to interrupt you there.
Okay, no, thank you, that's good. I've been hearing, I don't want to get hopes up, but it might allow an expedited timeline for future build outs, is that correct?
Yes, so and the good news is we have 3 different consultants that competed and that we're awarding contracts to. The reason there's 5 different contracts is 2 of them are CDBG funded and 3 of them are other funding source funded. But having 3 different consulting firms on board will allow us to be more flexible and nimble with the schedules. Right now we are in finalizing the contracts with all these consultants, and we're talking through and challenging them and our staff about how aggressive we can get so that we don't have to completely stagger everything, that we can work on multiple projects at one time. And we'll be following up in the very near future once we've talked this through a little bit more with the consultants with the schedules that we feel we can achieve.
Great. All right. Well, then I'll stay optimistic because as Trustee Asphalt mentioned earlier, I mean, the kids really did need this yesterday. And so there's a huge sense of urgency, particularly as school districts have to reevaluate their plans in light of the state situation. So with that, I'll move to approve.
Motion, Councilmember. And second, Councilmember Arenas. Councilmember Arenas.
Thank you, Mayor. I also want to echo the thanks to the team and to our school board members who really pressed us on this because they knew ahead of time what they needed in terms of tools to stay connected to their students as we were trying to figure out how we were going to do distance learning, and knowing that we had some huge gaps. And so I do want to thank the school board members for their pressure, for prompting us, for making sure that this was right in front of us, as well as thank your team, Mayor, for your leadership in this area. Before this pandemic hit, I know that there was some great progress already happening. And so I'm really grateful that we were able to just put a little bit more pressure on that and get some really good work out of this. But I know that there was a lot of work already laid out from your office and from previous folks working on this. I also want to note that I think this is a great strategy, Matt. I really appreciate having a number of contractors on. I know that this is a strategy that's going to allow for, and very selfishly, for Silver Creek and Mount Pleasant to be part, hopefully soon, of this project, and maybe even, knock on wood, before Superintendent Funk leaves. which is really important for us in terms of continuity of work. And so I think there's just a lot of really great work happening together. You know, Jill and Kip, and of course, Dolan did a lot of work on this. And it's just wonderful to see that we're getting a little bit closer, that that our excuse me, our students are already taking advantage of this. And let me tell you, when I see my kiddo who's a kinder, and this is just kinder class, right? But when her teacher stalls and it freezes and they're in the middle of a song and they're trying to learn, you know, their syllables, it really stalls learning. And so I just, magnify that by 100. And I think about the kids who are in junior high and high school, and the level of learning that they have to do through online. And so we have to make sure that these lines are clear. And so I just want to thank the team once again. I know, Matt, you were crucial in getting this strategy of having multiple companies come in and work at this at the same time so that we can push this all through. So I really appreciate it, Rajani. Thank you so much. If I didn't mention your name, I apologize, but I know that there's been a really great team effort on this part. And I just want to say thank you so much on behalf of our kids and on behalf of parents like myself who have to deal with the kids at home. It makes a huge difference. So thank you.
Thank you. I echo all the thanks to everyone who's been working so hard on this for quite a while now. Rajani and Matt and Kip and Dolan and everyone who's been pushing. I did have one question though, and I think it's probably a question for you, Matt, because I saw in the report that we picked 3 consultants because we believe that would help accelerate the program. My first response, or my first reaction was, we only had 3 consultants applying and all 3 got contracts. Just makes me feel a little bit like it's like Wobegon, where every child is above average or something. And I had some concerns because there was a significant differentiation between SmartWave and I think the other 2. And I had always understood that the critical path, sort of the choke point, was in our capacity to actually do the installation work, the work out on the street. And you seem to be saying that actually the choke point is around our consultants. Can you help me understand better?
Sure. Thanks for that question, Mayor Liccardo. There's probably multiple choke points here. Currently, what we need to do for what the choke point we're hoping we solved by having multiple consultants on board help us with the design process is so that we're not relying on one consulting firm to do all of the designs, because any organization can only do so much at once. And so we feel that we'll be more nimble and be able to get projects out on the street quicker with the multiple consultants working on them together or at the same time on separate projects. However, we still need to figure out the construction side. If we put 3 or 4 projects out to bid right at the same time, we don't know the answer to that yet regarding whether or not the construction industry is going to be able to handle them. We hope so and we think so, but it's a great question, and it's something we, as we really dig into these schedules over the next month, now that our design consultants are on board, we're going to have to think through and factor in as we report back. So I guess in summary, I don't have certainty yet on having solved the being able to construct multiple projects at the same time, but we are hopeful that we can do that.
Is the heavy lifting being done by contractors or by city staff?
By city staff, sorry, by contractors. Contractors on this one.
I see. Okay. Well, thank you for all that. Great. So we have a motion. Are there any other questions? Let's vote.
Jimenez,
Yes.
Morales,
Aye.
Yep,
Aye.
Roscoe,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Arenas,
Yes.
Foley,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Liccardo.
Aye.
Thank you.
right, item 3.7 are actions related to collective impact grant program, food and necessities distribution by community-based organizations. I think this is a deferral from last week for a portion of this item. I don't think there's a presentation at this point, is there? Nope. Okay, we heard it all. So we'll come back to the council for questions in a moment. We'll first go to the public. Tessa Woodmansee, we're hearing public testimony about 3.7 actions related to collective impact grant food program.
Thank you, Mayor Liccardo, for reviewing, so we make sure we're on task. Appreciate that. Yeah, well, that I've been talking about is food and necessities. And as we can see in terms of what's happened with COVID-19, what we've been doing hasn't been working. Can we all agree that it's not been working? And so we need to change course. That's what COVID has been telling us. That's what climate change has been telling us. And that's what our, the report on the, that we're losing all of our ecosystem is saying that we need to change, radical change. And the radical change is that, hold on, I'm just gonna turn this off. The radical change that we need is that we need to become hyper-local. We need to become hyper-local, and we need to be growing our food, and we need to be, all of our necessities met by our neighbors. That's how it used to be in the village life. And so what we need is support as we move towards a hyper-local economy and a village lifestyle. And so what that would look like is that we know our neighbors. That's very important. So we need support so that we can really know our neighbors. That's very critical for emergency preparedness as well as, our future, survival. And so by knowing our neighbors, we know what they can produce. And then so we need help in developing this neighborhood association. We need support from you to develop that. And then when we know our neighbors, what they can produce and what their services can be, then we use those services. And then of course we work together to grow food. That's what even the Pope, not the Pope, the Bishop was talking at the county meeting, Bishop Cantu, and also Pope Francis has been saying we need brotherhood. So we need to work together. That's how we, and another philosopher said that cooperation is how we're going to will redeem mankind. So we need to work together, growing food and living more local and providing stuff with.
Thank you, Tessa. All right, returning to the council. Is there a motion or comment?
I'll move to approve.
Motion, Councilmember Jimenez. And a second, I didn't quite hear who had the second, but
Councilmember Rennes, I think, had the second.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Councilmember Camus?
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're passing the whole disbursement of monies also to the YMCA as well, or?
I think this is the last tranche of it that goes to the YMCA.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Okay, let's vote.
Rennes,
Yes.
Morales,
Aye.
Yep,
Aye.
Roscoe,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Arenas,
Yes.
Foley,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Ricardo.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item 6.1 will bring us, I believe, Lori Mitchell to discuss our 2021 power mix and rates for San Jose Clean Energy. Welcome, Lori.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and council members. So we just have a short presentation, which we will put up. Okay, so yeah, I'm Lori Mitchell and I'm the Director of Community Energy. And tonight I'm joined by Zach Strike, who is our new Assistant Director. So this item is to approve our 2021 power mix and our rates. So we'll go to the next slide. So just as a reminder, in 2020, our green source product, which is our default product, is at least 45% renewable, which is 16% more renewable than PG&E. And in 2021, we are recommending to move to 40% renewable, which is likely to be 4% more renewable than PG&E. Next slide. And as a reminder, our rates have been 1% lower than PG&E since February of 2019 when we launched service. It's important to note that this includes PG&E's PCIA and their franchise fee surcharge. And that PG&E has confirmed that PCIA will rise again quite substantially in 2021. So our recommendation for 2021 is to set rates at initial 0.25% discount with flexibility to vary between parity with PG&E, the same rate, and a 1% discount. Each 0.25% change in our discount results in approximately $1 million in savings. So having that flexibility provides us about $4 million in revenue flexibility. So next slide. So just as a reminder, the PCIA, it's the Power Charge Indifference Adjustment. That's what that stands for. And it is a fee assessed by PG&E on all customers to cover their above market generation costs. So we incorporate the PCIA into our rate setting process so that when customers take service from us, they still save money compared to PG&E. And we need to adjust our current rate discount to alleviate the financial impacts from the large increase that we're likely to see in 2021. Next slide. And this chart shows you how the PCA has increased over the years. So back in 2013, the PCA was $4.42 per megawatt hour. And in 2021, we project the PCA to go to $43, so almost an order of magnitude of change in a pretty short amount of time. Also important to note is that when we launched the program back in 2018, the PCA was $21, so almost half of where it's going in 2021. So pretty substantial increases just in the last 2 years. So next slide. And then this slide shows our rates and our cost as a comparison to PG&E's total generation rates. So the light blue is what our generation rate is. So in 2018, our rates were actually 32% lower than PG&E. In 2020, they were 29% lower, and in 2021, they will actually be 38% lower, but of course our customers still have to pay for the PCIA, and that's the dark blue in this chart. So next slide. So in terms of advocacy, this is an issue that we're very focused on and engaged on, both with Cal CCA and other CCAs, and we are advocating for a number of changes. One, most importantly, is to reduce these above market portfolio costs so that we can improve affordability for all customers, not just our customers. Also to make sure that the PCI is administered in a very transparent manner so that as these fees are going up, customers know exactly what they're paying for. And then finally, we are advocating to reduce redundancy. So those resources that our customers are paying for in PG&E's portfolio, we think it's important that we get the benefits of those resources. So the next slide. So other CCAs are taking similar approaches because they're also facing revenue shortfalls with the rising PCIA. Some CCAs have already set their rates slightly higher than PG&E, but still very competitive. That's not something that we're recommending today. Others are utilizing the reserve. We are recommending that, at least a portion of our reserve, but we will still maintain our 20 million by the end of calendar year 2021. Some CCAs are starting to benchmark on renewable content instead of the carbon-free content due to the allocation of resource issues. That is something we are recommending as well. And then finally, to reduce their costs, many CCAs are lowering their renewable and their carbon-free content. And we are recommending an adjustment to our renewable content to save costs. So in summary, the Bay Area CCAs currently offer between 35% and 60% renewable power in their default products, and the rates vary from about 5% below PG&E to 6% above. So next slide. In terms of our power mix impact, so 40% renewable energy is still higher than the state requirements. and it is higher than PG&E's anticipated renewable content, which is 36% in 2021. We also anticipate that our carbon-free content will increase from 86% currently to 92% in 2021. And that is because we do expect to get that allocation of the carbon-free resources in the PCIA portfolio. Lowering our renewable content is also expected to reduce our 2021 power supply costs to ease impacts related to the PCIA. So next slide. So in terms of customer impacts, we did send notices in October of this rate change. So important to note that customers will not pay higher rates than PG&E. And the maximum increase for the average residential customer that we serve is about 50 cents per month. You can see in this table that if we were to maintain our 1% discount, an average customer would pay approximately $113.24. And if we moved to parity with PG&E, they would pay $113.74 per month. So next slide. So now I will turn it over to Zach Strike, who will talk about our disadvantaged communities green tariff program, as well as a direct renewables program.
Thank you, Lori. Again, Zach Strike, Assistant Director. The DAC Green Tariff Program is a CPUC funded program that provides 100% solar energy and a 20% discount for income qualifying customers in CARE and FARA programs who live in disadvantaged communities. This discount is in addition to customer discounts received through CARE and FARA programs. SJCE is allocated approximately 1.6 megawatts for a solar site, which will provide 100% renewable energy to approximately 500 San Jose Clean Energy customers. Implementation of this program supports the city's work to advance equity by increasing access to the benefits of renewable energy among customers that otherwise cannot afford it. The eligible DAC Green Tariff project site must be located in a disadvantaged community within PG&E service territory, and San Jose Clean Energy would sign a power purchase agreement with the selected solar developer. San Jose Clean Energy may partner with other interested CCAs to issue a joint RFO for that power plant. Today, we're asking Council to authorize San Jose Clean Energy to submit an advice letter, which is the implementation plan, to the CPUC by the end of 2020. The program would be implemented in 2021 and 2022. Finally, staff are currently evaluating direct renewable energy programs and researching which model would work best for SJCE and its customers. A direct renewable energy program, also known as a green tariff, sources energy generation from specific renewable resources and provides customers competitive pricing while also helping them meet their sustainability goals. San Jose Clean Energy would benefit from more predictable loads and additional investment in renewable energy development from customer participation in such a program. We expect to present recommendations to City Council in 2021. And that's the end of our presentation.
Great, thank you both for your work in adjusting to these very difficult regulatory circumstances, particularly with the PCIA. I appreciate that we're able to still keep a price that's just barely below PG&E's and higher renewable content. We'll go to the public now on this item. This is item 6.1, power mix and rates. Tessa Woodmansee.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't have my, oh, here's my timer. Okay, good. Well, it was a little confusing, the way it's written up on the document, that it looked like it was less of renewables. And so, which is not good, and things like that. It's really the renewable that is the issue of how we're getting carbon free is our issue versus saving a penny, or, like my husband always says, people say that solar doesn't pencil out. We have to look at the real costs of our climate crisis, and looking especially at what's happening in our global south in Nicaragua, hit by 2 hurricanes, in the last week, 155 miles. Though we might not see climate change here, we have to remember and use our forethought to understand it's happening already in other places, and we need to make changes very quickly. But in addition to our solar um, issues in our community, we really need rooftop solar, because that's when you know it's 100% solar. You don't have to think about it. You know, is it 20? Is it 30? You know, where does it come from? So we need to really move to that model of rooftop solar. And then you know, in terms of our backup, we really, and I think that's something, Mayor Liccardo, you've talked about with Google, that we really need some centralized battery infrastructure, that we can use the batteries of a microgrid, so that we can be completely off of PG&E. Because the real issue with PG&E that, you know, we found out when we went into, you know, shutdown, that we had problems with our solar because it's still on the PG&E network. And the real issue is the transmission lines, because just having the transmission lines coming from the Sierras, that causes the fires. Just the transmission lines, the high power to go long distance. We have to become hyper local. Again, has to be our mantra. And so, you know, this is where we need very local to support, to help people to have it on our rooftop, and to get a microgrid that is battery backup, so that we could, you know, you not be on PG&E at all. That's what.
Thank you. Victor Niemeyer?
Hi, I'm Victor Niemeyer, electric utility economist. I've been a San Jose resident for over 40 years and have followed San Jose Clean Energy from the beginning. I'm a total green customer. I support the resolution. I'm concerned that the forces that led to this sort of unhappy state aren't going away, however, and are going to get worse. The city's making billion-dollar commitments to buy wind and solar over many years for customers who could walk at any time. I worry about opt-outs if things go wrong. I worry about possible increased customer choice. I worry about technology making self-generation cheaper and easier. The city could end up holding out-of-market contracts just like PG&E and trying to collect on that. The other concern I have is that meeting California's carbon goals is going to be expensive. Solar is getting cheaper, but you know, for the foreseeable future, the only way to spread it over when customers need the power is with battery storage. Solar firmed with batteries to deliver the same reliability as gas is many more times expensive than gas. And San Jose Clean Energy is just going to get blamed for this reality. Enough things have changed since the sort of rosy predictions of the February 2017 consultants report, I think, to take a fresh look. Clean energy is not going to become a cash cow. It's not going to have a major environmental impact. Going forward, the council needs to take a strategic look at the future, think how to get out of this alive.
Mr. Beekman?
All right, thank you. Local community energy is part of what can be the future of community and its local government, sharing good democratic ideals and practices for a sustainable future. It is from this, local community energy is ideally committed to end a reliance on nuclear power in its economy. It is working to develop more sustainable renewable ideas and practices for the future of local communities. Can someone mute their Zoom, please?
That's right there. If everyone could please mute your devices. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm still in the meeting. We're not going to be.
Thank you. If needed, can I have possibly a few more 10, 15 seconds more?
I'll give you time.
Thank you. Thank you. So I hope those words that I just offered, they can, I think, is what the previous caller just described as something of the future of local community energy. It's about democratic practices of a local community. And it's about making decisions with community. And it isn't just government dictating decision making. It is a sharing of decisions based on basically ideas of renewables and how to leave, you know, the economy of nuclear, basically. And that's difficult. And that's where we're faced with at this time. I've been going to EBCE meetings, East Bay Community Energy, for a few months now. They have 5 public meetings a month. So I understand a bit of what they're going through. San Jose, they don't have that. They have the, commission meeting once a month, and I've not been seeing that. So this is my first time, viewing these things. And so I'm a bit worried that, you've given up on renewables at this time, and we're all sorry for that. We got to band together in San Jose. And I hope I can be allowed to speak about East Bay and make comparisons to East Bay Community Energy and San Jose Community Energy in the future. And things can turn. We just have to be. I'm giving you some good guidelines. I feel what we need to be thinking about and working towards. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's return now to the council questions. Again, appreciate all the hard work to try to grapple with these very significant challenges. I had a couple questions. One was about the statement in the memo, and I'll try to find it. It was relatively early in the memo. It referred to what's going on at the PUC with the PCIA charges. And there was reference to, I think, Commissioner Guzman-Aceves having sought to take a fresh look at both the 5% cap and to the formula that's being used to calculate the PCIA. And I'm just trying to understand whether the intent behind that, based on sort of the circumstances, is they're just going to lift the cap and basically we're going to be subjected to whatever the utilities demand, or is there actually a serious intent on the part of the PUC to scrub these numbers and apply greater scrutiny to the appeals of investor-owned utilities for greater charges?
Yeah, that's a great question, Mayor Liccardo. Happy to answer it. So, back in 2018 in the phase one decision around the PCIA, they did implement a cap. That cap is $5 per megawatt hour annually that it could increase by. And that was meant to provide some type of stability to CCA customers. However, they also approved what's called a trigger. So the cap isn't really a cap, essentially. So anytime, because of the cap, there's a under collection from PG&E's customers, that just grows over time. And when it grows above 7%, they can file to recover that all at once. And so we saw that, this summer with San Diego Gas and Electric. We're facing it with PG&E. In 2019, Southern California Edison had that same issue. So the fundamental problem is that the cap was never a cap. It has this trigger mechanism, which, you have to pay it at some point. So what's going on right now at the PUC, CCAs are working with the investor-owned utilities and Commissioner Guzman-Aceves, who is the assigned commissioner on this, to try to get a longer amortization period of the under collection. So we're advocating to collect that over 3 years. It doesn't do anything, as you correctly noted, to the growing costs. It's, pay now, pay later. Those costs are still there. Now, we are in favor of this longer amortization period to try to stabilize where costs are growing.
Right.
But we still need to work in the legislature and at the commission to reduce the costs, right? Because that ultimately will have the biggest impact on not only our customers, but also PG&E's customers, because they also pay for any above market costs.
So Lori, I know you guys are doing the best you can, and there's, a partnership across all the CCAs in the state, but we have not yet been successful, at least it seems. I know we hope the Colorado bill might get some traction this session, but we also know the legislature is going to be plenty distracted with all things COVID related. And so I'm just trying to play a couple moves down the chessboard. I'm guessing that a fair number of CCAs are going to be going the way of increasing rates above the incumbent utility, and then we're going to start hearing a sucking sound of customers coming out of the CCAs. And do we have a plan B if we can't reverse what's going on in a regulatory context? and nobody in Sacramento has the courage to stand up to the investor-owned utilities. You know, do we have a plan other than that's going to somehow or another keep our customer base if rates end up having to be significantly higher than PG&E?
Yeah, so it's a good question, and certainly we think about this all the time, and there's a number of different strategies working on. You know, I think primarily we want to get better outcomes, and I would say it's been a tough road, but there are some positivity. For example, the cholera bill, it looks like the CCA is going to implement some measures to get us a little bit more transparency. So even though the bill didn't go forward, it put a lot of pressure on the commission to get a better outcome there. But to answer your question, yeah, there's a number of strategies. Well, number one, I would say no CCA has significantly priced above the investor-owned utility. You see 3%, 5%, which in effect is, you know, about $3 a month for the average customer. So those CCAs that have been more expensive over the years, from time to time, on average, have still been cheaper. And they haven't seen large opt-outs. Now, I would expect probably larger than our very, very low opt-out rate of 2%. We might see, certainly we could see something like a 10% opt-out rate or something like that. And so our main strategy to mitigate that is we have been very, very conservative on what we're locking in further out. So for example, on our longer term contracts, you know, not above even 50% our load is locked in. So we have a lot of flexibility there. I would say the other strategy that we think a lot about, as well as Jean Soleil, who's our Deputy Director of Power Resources, is really making sure those contracts that we're signing are competitive, so that in the event that we did have to resell something at some point, we could recover our costs. And, you know, very proud to say, I think we've done a very good job there. So it's something we have our eye on. I will also say, you know, I've been around this a long time, and it's always been the problem. Even back in 2013, when that PCI was $5, I remember vividly it going from $5 to $10 and thinking it was over. And what you have seen over that time is CCAs growing and thriving and providing real economic benefits to their customers and accelerating renewable energy. So I do have hope that we will forge ahead. You know, California now is served, half of California now is served by a CCA. San Diego's launching this year. Peninsula is expanding into Los Banos. East Bay Community Energy, Tracy is joining them this year. So it continues to be expansion, even with all of the challenges in front of us. And I would say, I think it's really important for CCAs to be out there, because the issue is these above market costs, and CCAs at the end of the day provide competition. You know, these costs are not going to go anywhere, and you know, it helps to shed a light on the issue and to try to get more affordable and of course cleaner electric service, which is obviously very important.
Thank you, Lori. You did an excellent job of answering a very tough question. These long-term contracts are all assignable. We can sell the contract. Okay, that's helpful.
Yeah.
And then finally, I understand the desire for a direct, trying to remember the name of the term, sort of the direct allocation or a renewable source where we get a stable customer over the long run. But I'm trying to understand why it's beneficial for a customer, because like I'm a total green customer, so I know I'm getting 100% renewable more or less. And why wouldn't a company just sign up for that? Why would they hook themselves up to a long-term contract on a particular renewable source?
Yeah, it's a good question. So this program is really targeted at some of our large commercial customers, and you know, the quick reason is they would get a more attractive rate that's fixed over the long term. As a total green customer, you're assured that you're getting 100% clean energy, but rates change over time. And so it really provides them with stability. And we know a lot of large corporate customers are looking to make investments in renewable energy because they have very aggressive sustainability goals. So it's a way that we can help enable that. So it's something we're working closely with those customers. Of course, it has to be a win-win, has to be something that, you know, has benefits for them, but also helps us remain stable and cover our costs. I don't know, Zach, if you want to add anything else, you've been the closest to this. Yeah, okay.
No, you got it.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Jack. All right, Councilman Camus.
Thank you, Lori, and thank you for the report and the direction. You know, when we first put this CCNA together, you know, I had my misgivings that we were getting the worst case scenario, and this is kind of proving out that we didn't really get the full worst case scenario. That being said, you know, and I do have many concerns about, especially, you know, Victor, the gentleman who spoke really articulated some of the concerns that I've had as well. If these charges keep going up, and then, you know, we can't be above PG&E. Why would we want to be above PG&E? Everybody could leave us quickly. You know, what would be the contingency for that? And quite frankly, I remember putting in the ordinance that we must have a plan that is lower than PG&E. And we were, you know, I was actually disappointed that we were only 1% lower than PG&E for the longest time. But I'm hearing from you, and I think the mayor, that we're even considering about going above PG&E. Is that, you know, I thought it was in the ordinance, and maybe Nora can help on that as well.
So just to answer, we're not recommending that right now. And, you know, my strong preference I absolutely agree with you, is to stay below PG&E. You know, I can't predict what the future, you know, might bring, but today we're not there, and that, you know, we're going to do everything we can to remain below PG&E's rates. And Nora, if you want to talk about the ordinance question.
I'd have to go back and look to see if that was included in the ordinance. I don't recall if it was a requirement or a goal. I'd have to go back and check.
I'm 99% sure that I made it part of my motion to make it part of the ordinance. I actually clipped that videotape, but I have to find it. But if you could find it, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll look right now.
Thank you. My second question is, are taxpayers on the hook, in your opinion, if this were to keep going in the wrong direction and people were to walk away from San Jose's plan because, you know, they either get parity, I guess, or they go on solar? Quite frankly, I just invested in solar, and you know, so not, you know, not to hurt San Jose in any way. I just wanted to go greener and make that commitment. But you know, what I'm trying to say is, if people keep walking away, what is the exposure to our taxpayers?
Yeah, that's a great question, council member, and congratulations for going solar. I don't think that hurts our program at all. That's a great thing. In terms of hurting the taxpayers, we are paying back the commercial paper that the city provided to start our launch. That'll be paid back this year. So there are no taxpayer impacts. If we ultimately have to unwind the program, we would sell off those resources, and there's no impact to the general fund.
And the resources, including long-term contracts that we've been in, those are, you think you could sell them on the open market somehow, or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But
let me be clear. We're not seeing large opt-outs. We're not recommending setting rates higher than PG&E today. And our strong goal is to remain below PG&E and to keep our rates very affordable, while at the same time really, you know, pressing our clean energy goals. That is our objective. We are very focused on that, and certainly not recommending taking that step today.
No, I appreciate that. And you know, I wasn't trying to say that you were. I'm just saying, in the future, looking forward, I heard it from you and from the mayor about that option. And I'm pretty sure that, well, at least the way I voted for it, to my recollection, there is not that option unless you change the ordinance. I think I'll just wait for Nora. I don't have any more questions. I appreciate that the predicament that you're in. Yeah, even with all the changes to the CPUC, is there nobody who's favorable to the cities and the community choice that is on that board? I just can't believe that everybody who's appointed to that board has, basically towed the line of PG&E.
Yeah, it's been a hard organization to turn. Over the years, there certainly though have been friendly commissioners to local government. CCAs have been around for about a decade. Marin is celebrating its 10th year of operation, and they've expanded across Contra Costa County into Richmond, been very successful. And things change. You go through a period where commissioners are not friendly. There's also been periods where they've been more friendly. So that is something that we are very focused on. There will be a number of vacancies this year, we expect. And so it's certainly something we are working on to get a commissioner that's more engaged with local governments and on CCA issues, and also engaged on affordability.
And Lori, we just finished up the legislative priorities and intergovernmental lobby with our intergovernmental lobbyists. I don't know if I noticed the CCA issue, the charges. Was that part of our direction, Lee?
Yeah, it's on the list.
Okay.
Yes,
all right.
it's absolutely part of the direction.
I apologize if I missed it. Thank you. And those are the end of my questions, but I'm still waiting for Nora. You can email me if you don't have it available, but.
No, I have the actual language from the ordinance. And what it says is at least one power mix shall be provided with rates equal to or below similar PG&E rates.
That's what I remember.
And there's a proviso with that the rates furnish sufficient revenue to recover all expenses, including payment to counterparties to power products, debt service, credit requirements, other expenditure requirements, and to build prudent reserves.
So in your opinion, that caveat negates the first part.
It could, but
Expenses
but the goal was to have one power mix that was below PG&E.
Okay, so in theory, Lori can set up a less clean power mix, perhaps, that would still be below PG&E's.
In theory. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
And I should tell you, Councilor Camus, I'm not sure if you intended to say this or not, but you don't get out of San Jose Clean Energy by getting solar. You'll still be in. I've been in. I've had solar for more than a decade, so you'll still be getting our bills.
No, I get the bill. I just will have a lot less to pay. Is what I'm saying. I won't be a good customer, right?
That's okay. We're happy to cheer. Okay, Councilmember Davis.
Thank you. I share Councilmember Camus's sentiments. I'm not crazy about moving this recommendation forward because we are reducing the discount our customers get compared with PG&E's rates, but I do understand the necessity of it. I continue to feel very strongly that we have to at least be at or below as our ordinance states, and never go higher than PG&E for at least one of our power mix options. And I just want to, I know the PCIA is really complicated and there's calculations that are involved in all of that, but I just want to be clear as I understand it, and Lori, you can correct me if I'm wrong. This is basically a fee that just eliminates the consequences of competition for PG&E investors. Like at the base level, that's what that is.
Yeah, I think that's one way to look at it. I think the way PG&E would present it, in concept, what it is that PG&E made investments in various types of resources, just like we are. For them, a lot of the costs are related to Diablo Canyon and its decommissioning. Also some of the earlier solar and wind contracts that they entered into, in 2010 and earlier years when it was more expensive. But yes, structurally, a large part of our advocacy is that the way that it's calculated really doesn't incentivize them to reduce those costs, right? Many utilities make investments. We make investments and they don't have the same amount of a market cost that PG&E does. And one obvious example is that Southern California Edison, who operates, in LA County, has a much lower PCIA than PG&E. So it certainly is possible to have a better performing portfolio. And unfortunately, the way it's calculated, it doesn't really incentivize them to do things such as control their operations and maintenance costs, to sell off their excess resources in a timely manner, to refinance some of those legacy contracts. Many municipal utilities have extended the term on some of those longer solar contracts and lowered the price. So certainly there are actions, utilities can take to lower their costs, and they do them every day. And our concern is that the way that the PCIA is set up, it really doesn't incentivize them to do that, because as it goes up, it hurts their competition. So I think, I understand how you're making that conclusion.
Yeah. So just to be clear, this is not free market competition. This is not a true free market. This is the CPUC protecting an investor-owned utility at the expense of CCAs. That's the way I see it. And I don't think you would disagree with that, because we've had many conversations about this. So I want to be clear to the residents who are watching. The PCIA is a fee that goes directly to PG&E, and that is completely unrelated to the services that you receive from San Jose Clean Energy, our customers. And it's outrageous. I am beside myself with this fee, and the fact that it is basically doubled in the 2 years since we've had San Jose Clean Energy. Our rates would be 38% lower in 2021 without this needless fee. And so I want to encourage anyone watching this to write to the California Public Utilities Commission and to write to the governor, because he's the one who makes the appointments to the CPUC, and tell them to stop these increases and to support CCAs. I just think it's absolutely ridiculous now at this point. As you said, Lori, 50% of all Californians are customers of CCAs, and they are being basically bilked out of this money just to enrich the PG&E investors and the investor-owned utilities. And I'm so not okay with that. I am outraged. But I am very excited about the Disadvantaged Communities Green Tariff Program, and the program that you're talking about to negotiate directly with larger companies so that they can have 100% renewables. And I also want to commend you and your team, Zach, for continuing to prioritize the financial stability of your department, to pay back the commercial paper, and to make sure that we're well set up for the long haul. So I am going to support the staff recommendation, and I will move staff recommendation now.
Second.
All right, motion and second. I should just to add to Councilmember Davis's point, it's not just taken from CCAs, it's taken from millions of customers. And I should note that the political players it's not just about the investor-owned utilities. As soon as Supervisor Sheila Kuhl and I co-wrote an op-ed in the LA Times, within, I think, a week or so, we had an opposing op-ed show up in the Mercury News from the IBEW head. It is clear that they are very powerful in Sacramento, and this is both the legislature and the PUC that's really at play here. And it's not just about the utilities; it's definitely about the ability of the IBEW to continue to express a strong bias toward PG&E, and that continues to be a constraint for us. Councilmember Perales.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback a couple comments. Number one, I think Councilmember Davis said it well, and her passion was enough to express it. I want to just piggyback on that, and I'll just say that in our encouragement of getting support, I think from our community members, number one, it's educating them. So I think this is great. Obviously, this conversation today, but continue just to kind of educate our community on the dynamic. And as you just pointed out, Mayor, there are a lot of factors. And the other one I think is that what we're looking for is something that's reasonable. We're not necessarily trying to specifically put any investor-owned utility out of business. That's not the goal of CCAs. But indeed, what this fee has done is make it that much more difficult for us to even be able to compete. And so I just want to be able to stress those comments. And then I believe also, as Lori was saying in regards to Councilmember Camus's comments, just to echo that we're not suggesting, and certainly that's not within the motion here, to have rates that are equal or higher than PG&E. We're still at our 1% below commitment. And additionally, we're at a very low opt-out rate. Even if I think, we were to see additional opt-outs, that's not something we're seeing happening now, and we're below the average. But I think there's obviously wiggle room, as Lori pointed out. So I think that maybe the doom and gloom scenario is certainly something we should be aware of, but we're not there today. We're not making that direction in this motion today, but we certainly have to be aware of what could be possible in the future. And I think that Lori's done a great job of keeping us all informed and up to date. And certainly our mayor has kind of led a charge for us here in Northern California. And I think we need to keep educating our community members, and hopefully we will see some change in the near future, and actually be able to bring back what we had hoped a couple of years ago, and bring back some of these benefits to the community, because that's really what we're also limiting right now is the benefits that we could have been providing our community. We're extremely now handcuffed in not being able to do that. That's my comments.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have a motion then. Let's vote.
Jimenez,
Yes.
Morales,
Aye.
Diep,
Aye.
Roscoe,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Arenas,
Yes.
Foley,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Ricardo.
Aye. Thank you. 6.2 are the master consultant agreements with Project Controls Joint Venture LLC and PMA Consultants LLC. We do not have a presentation on this item.
No, there is no presentation, but
Okay.
it's available for questions.
Thank you, Mariana. I appreciate it. So Mariana is available for any questions. We'll go first to the public for any comments on master consultant agreements with Project Controls Joint Venture LLC and PMA Consultants LLC. Tessa Woodmansee.
Good. Thank you so much. Okay, wastewater, right. I was speaking at the county. They have a sustainability issue with water, and how we need to really help, as even what we're seeing right now is that most probably we are in a drought, which was what was projected by the science in terms of climate change, is that, droughts would be worse and things like that. So we need to be in a conservation mode all the time and never give that up. And one of the ways that I was talking with the county is, to put irrigation in so that we can grow food. That was something that we need to have, urban sustainability, but how to give a discount for us so that it doesn't cost the ratepayer, as we're talking about with electricity, more for our water consumption. But then again, our water, so we reduce the cost of our wastewater treatment. Again, everything needs to stay on our property, and how we need to develop systems to encourage that. So we don't have the cost of a wastewater system, which in a sense, well, like I've said before, is that because where it's located, right there by the ocean with sea level rise, we're gonna have trouble with that. And so we have to be planning and have all these issues that we have to deal with, which are major infrastructure issues as we go forward. And so in terms of water, it needs to be, like I said, on our properties as much as we can, being hyper local. that all of our gray water stays on the property and that recharges our ground and things like that. But also, you know, so what the sustainable program does is it encourages native reduction by planting natives, but I wanted to include, you know, growing food, that we get a reduction in our rates if we grow food. And so those are just some of the issues about water.
Thank you. All right, returning to the council. Are there any questions, comments, or motion?
Move approval.
Motion, Councilmember Davis. Second, Councilmember Arenas. Let's vote.
Jimenez,
Yes.
Perlis,
Aye.
Yep,
Aye.
Roscoe,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Arenas,
Yes.
Foley,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Ricardo.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to skip 6.3, which has been deferred 2 weeks. So we'll go on to item 6.4, which is Climate Smart San Jose Plan Semi-Annual Update. There is a presentation.
There is. Thank you, Mayor Ricardo. Carrie Romano, Director of Environmental Services. I'm joined today with Ken Davies with the Environmental Services Department, as well as Ramses Meadow with the Department of Transportation. We're proud to be here today to highlight the critical climate work we've maintained during the pandemic and an otherwise very challenging year. Despite everything that 2020 has thrown at us, climate change and global warming are not taking 2020 off, and our mission remains as important as ever. So next slide, today's presentation, I believe, is our 5th annual update on Climate Smart San Jose. So as we go into this presentation, we just want to remind you, and we've talked about some of these things today, that cities play a crucial role in our nation's economic development and climate action. 90% of GDP and 86% of US jobs are generated in 3% of the continental United States, mostly our cities. 2/3 of the world's energy is consumed by cities, and 70% of global greenhouse gas emissions are produced by cities. So as the 10th largest city in the United States, San Jose plays an important and leading role in fighting the fight against climate change.
Carrie, I think your notes are actually appearing on the slide as well. I think it's in the wrong format. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. Ken, can you share differently?
Yeah, let me try that again.
All right. Hey, thanks. I can just be quiet if you guys want.
You probably want that.
Thank you. So we'll give a quick background on Climate Smart today. We'll talk about how we're engaging the community during COVID, cover the city's own climate progress in operation of our own facilities. Really appreciate that. With that, if we could go to the next, I can't see what slide we're on, I'm sorry. Ken, if you go to the next slide. Thank you. If you look, this is kind of the framing of Climate Smart San Jose. And we really are working as an organization and as a community, frankly, to deliver on the plan that council adopted in 2018. As you may recall, the plan is centered around people. That's one of the things that makes our plan different from others. We focus on the city serving as a catalyst for outside action in our community planning. We had a lot of public input, and we're aiming at improving the quality of life. We are implementation ready, so we focused on things that were ready to go, cost effective, and would create material change for climate and for our community benefit. And it also aligns deeply with our general plan and our environmental goals. We're one of the few cities that have an inclusive plan. So equity was a key component of our plan right from the start, and that is where we focus on enabling the Good Life 2.0. And it's of course informed by data because we are in the center of Silicon Valley. Next slide. The plan has 3 pillars with 9 strategies, and each of the 9 strategies has bold goals. And so some of the key things to focus on are densification of our neighborhoods, like urban villages. That helps us get people out of their cars, and that is a key component to meeting our objectives. Creating local jobs, again, to reduce vehicle miles traveled, to embrace our California climate, to continue to move beyond the state's water goals, and to make homes more efficient and affordable with 0 net carbon goals. And we talked about that with our REACH code a few months ago. We could go to the next slide. So in the absence of the current federal climate leadership, the community came together to support the principles of the Paris Agreement, and we are looking forward to a time when we can re-engage in that. But until then, we have a plan to meet those objectives. Some key things to highlight is in 2020, all new homes will be zero net carbon. We achieved that through the REACH code. By 2030, 60% of all passenger vehicles will be electric. We are presently the #1 EV deployed capital in the US. People are electrifying with over 13,500 plug-in and EVs in the South Bay. And the governor's new mandate for all vehicles to be electric will continue progress in that area. By 2050, we will reduce per capita water consumption of 50% to 2009 goals. By 2040, San Jose will be the world's first 1 gigawatt solar city. Over 90% of all of our rooftops are suitable for solar electricity, and we need to continue to leverage that. And by 2040, 4 out of 10 commute trips will be taken in single occupancy vehicles. So that's a bit about the vision of where we're going. And with that, I'll turn it over to Ken to bring us back to today and the progress we've made since our last 6-month update.
Thanks, Carrie. So we'll start off with community engagement. Obviously, one of the big changes over the past year has been how we engage with our community during the pandemic. And so featured here on this slide, you have one of our virtual house parties promoting our trilingual web platform, Climate Smart Challenge web platform that we'll talk about later on. Just a shout out to the amazing and ongoing support that our partners and Mothers Out Front have been providing us on that effort. In the middle there, we've got one of our webinars offering financial counseling on the benefits of electric vehicles, also offered in multiple languages. And then finally, a local family that was able to take advantage of the dealer discounts that staff had negotiated with San Jose dealerships on electric vehicles. I'm not going to test my Zoom skill too much. I'm going to go to the video at the end, but we do have a video of some Climate Smart champions. We'll just get that at the very end. In addition to overarching Climate Smart community engagement, the city made progress on its own Climate Smart action plan. It's a 30-year plan, so there's still a long journey ahead in order to meet our goals through 2050, but there's also clear ongoing commitment, and I would just add a lot of passion amongst the staff and departments that we work with. And now I'll cover a few key initiatives arranged by the plan's core pillars that are representative of the extensive and commendable actions that various city departments are taking to help bring the short and long-term Climate Smart goals to reality. So pillar one, as we strive to reach our own electric vehicle goals and now those of the governor, one area of needed attention is the charging infrastructure to get all those vehicles on the road. That is being helped tremendously by the Cal EV VIP dollars that San Jose Clean Energy is leading on. Our REACH code on new construction mandates some of that charging infrastructure be put in place. But a huge amount does come from Cal EVIP, which leveraged millions in state dollars against some matching funds from the utility. Building electrification, our REACH code and initial gas ban are now almost a year old. Our interdepartmental team was very proud to be recognized by SPUR for that effort, but as you know, we're hoping to not stop there and be back here in a couple of weeks with more. Natural working lands and zero waste elements. Those will be new elements eventually under Climate Smart. Looking at the interplay between natural working lands and community-wide GHG emissions and the zero waste element, that will take an updated look at our solid waste and recycling streams to see where we can improve the Good Life 2.0 while lowering GHG. So continued progress here that we hope to wrap up in 2021. And then we also have recently completed, which you have as an attachment, municipal GHG inventory for 2018. And that's what that looks like here. There's some different methodology there between the years. This year was different, and that the first time we had a complete street tree inventory, so we could show a little sequestration value there. Emissions reduction was about 10% from our 2010 baseline year, driven by building and lighting efficiencies, as well as lowered emissions by the San Jose Municipal Water. We did see a noticeable gain in employee commute related emissions, probably a function of folks having to live farther out due to the cost of housing. And just perspective that treating wastewater to very high standards for about half the county certainly requires a lot of energy. Pillar 2, a vibrant city of connected and focused growth. DOT is working toward a comprehensive access and mobility plan that Ramses is going to be covering very shortly. Parking management, the city is committed to the recently extended American Cities Climate Challenge to reevaluate our parking policies. And through our ACC partners, the city will continue to comprehensively evaluate and pursue updating of parking requirements for new development to design a parking strategy that will enable no and low parking development, particularly around transit. Drive electric and drive forward EV counseling. Ramses will also be covering that very shortly. EV charge points, Public Works and DOT have been collaborating with PG&E for some time to install 300 charge points for electric vehicles that would be available for the public, employees, and the city fleet. That has been pandemic delayed, but they're hoping to get that going again early next year. And with that, I am going to hand off to Ramses.
All right, thanks, Ken. Good evening, Mayor, Council, and public. I'm really excited to talk about this. This is kind of one of the moral compasses for all the work we do in the city, and so it's so great to be kind of combining our efforts into this North Star. I'm going to start off talking a little bit about the bike plan. As you all know, we adopted this quite recently, last month or so. And this plan really sets a really high bar across the country. It's a real leadership document, getting a lot of attention, helping us kind of hopefully get more resources to implement it. But yeah, we're really looking at upgrading what the bike infrastructure looks like, how safe people feel and are in that. As we know, that's one of the major barriers to getting people over to this zero carbon way of getting around. Next slide, please. So we're already implementing the bike plan as we speak. For those who are moving around the city or who live close by to this, you can see on 10th and 11th, we're implementing one of our very innovative new designs for figuring out how to make a pretty fast one-way couplet of 10th and 11th, turning it into a slower road for cars and giving bikes as well as the folks who live on the road a better experience. We're about halfway through the implementation of this. We've put the new road surface down, we've put the paint down, and now we're doing some financing work to get the final money in place to get the physical barriers put in for this 10th, 11th. But we're also doing work on Fruitdale, Nagley, San Antonio Street is a really great one. One of the big directives from council when we adopted the bike plan was to make sure we really focus on east-west corridors. And we're already working on that, getting San Antonio Street in place. That's one of the few ways to get over 101 from the east side to downtown. And we're getting some new protections in there. Next slide, please. So bike plan, all right, now we got one mode. Now we got to really think about the entire city in all modes. One of the great things that happened when Climate Smart was adopted, we got this little note from Mayor Liccardo saying, do we actually have a plan to change the mode split? Well, that's what we're working on right now. The Transportation Environment Committee has seen this a few times. We're working really hard. In fact, we're actually having public workshops last week and this week. Tomorrow night, we have a Vietnamese language workshop. We have over 50 people signed up for that. And Thursday, we have a Spanish language one. So we're really working to figure out how do we meet these really ambitious goals that you all in council have given us in staff, How do we do it in a way that's equitable, making sure we're listening to folks who've traditionally not been listened to very well, and make a plan to meet these goals together. Next slide, please. So as you remember, in our first phase of the Access Mobility Plan, we came up with the transportation directives. We're actually just finishing off work to kind of refine these into goals that are a little less wonky. One of the feedback pieces of feedback we've gotten from the public is a lot of the names for these things are a little maybe too plannery. So we've done a lot of work kind of refining the names, but also the content of what all of these are. And we'll be posting all that very shortly. And if you're interested and can speak Vietnamese or Spanish, please join us again tomorrow and Thursday to learn some more. Next slide, please. Right. So how do we achieve real mode shift, right? That's what this plan is about. Right. And so we're really looking into strategies that work in diverse parts of the city. We're looking across the country and across the world to see how cities are doing this. One of the most interesting things we're learning right now is that we are part of a cohort of cities across the country and across the world that are facing the same problem and trying to tackle it. Minneapolis, Austin, Denver, Seattle, Portland, DC, just to name a few, all have similar mode split and transportation goals that we are working towards. And I think that this is a huge piece that we want to make sure everybody's hearing right now. And let's see. What else do I want to highlight here? We're working very hard to get new data sources and analytic techniques to understand how transportation shapes our city and what we can do to make strategies that will, for upfront change things, but also continue to track this, right? We're trying to make sure we're setting up a system that keeps us accountable over time and gives us the ability to change decisions over time. We're also looking at our organization. We're going through an organizational review to help us understand how we're lined up with these goals and see how we might be able to improve skills or processes or even structures, personnel structures within the department to see how we might deliver on this that much better. We've expanded the telework program, obviously. We're all kind of doing that, and we're really trying to push for a TDM manager. We really appreciate the council memo on this, trying to further that work with us. We really appreciate that. It's a needed position to get the city to do what it kind of walk the talk. And like I said, we're trying to build support right now for this. We're collecting feedback on through social media, Move San Jose, the website, as well as the social media handle on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Are constantly posting, trying to generate energy and interest. That's working pretty well right now. We're pretty happy with it, but the more we can get it out there, the better. And we've formed an equity council made up of 4 community-based organizations that is helping us kind of keep our focus on the voices of folks that don't traditionally show up to public meetings, working with the Silicon Valley Assisted Living Center, People Acting in Community Together Pact, Latinos United for a New America, Luna, and the Vietnamese volunteer organization, Vivo, to make sure that we are listening as deeply as we can as we develop this plan. Next slide, please. All right, and lastly, we have launched and relaunched, right? So we tried to get this electric purchasing program off the ground. It kind of crashed in the immediate dust of the COVID closures, and we did get it back up. And we have 5 dealerships going. It is ending. We're looking at trying to get an extension or a revival of that coming up. And we're still kind of, we're still gathering data on final purchases that were related to it. We've also been doing free EV financial counseling for low and moderate income households. These workshops have been pretty well attended and been done in multiple languages. And this is really giving people that next step up. A lot of people see the electric cars, they see Teslas, they think of Elon Musk, they think they need to be billionaires to to drive an electric vehicle. This is not the case. And in fact, if we can get over the initial purchasing price of things, electric vehicles are much cheaper to own over their lifetime. And so there's actually a lot of financial benefit to getting into these, and especially with some of the lower cost ones out there. Chevy in particular is pushing some pretty low cost models at the moment. And so there is a world of kind of getting people just to understand what these look like, what it means to own one, how it works for them. And so we're getting some traction and success there. And with that, I'll pass it back to Ken.
Thanks, Ramses. This is our pillar 3 of Climate Smart, an economically inclusive city of opportunity. I mentioned the Climate Smart Challenge web platform. We've got this fantastic platform to help guide residents in 3 languages on how to reduce their carbon footprint and energy costs. It's really fun to use. I'll show you some examples on the next slide. USDN EDI Fellow. We got funding through the Urban Sustainability Directors Network. San Jose was selected as one of 7 cities to host a USDN Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Fellow. Building on the inclusive elements of Climate Smart, the part-time fellow will apply an equity lens to Climate Smart programs and help us develop a climate and equity narrative. And then urban heat island mapping, as it relates to the energy cost burden relative to overall income that some of our residents face. We had the opportunity to engage with Santa Clara University on a urban heat island mapping exercise in the cities of San Jose and Santa Clara. If you're not familiar with that, it's where we have lots of hardscape and not a lot of trees. And you can get urban heat island effects where peak temperatures reached in the mid-afternoon can keep neighborhood spots hot well into the evening because those heat absorbing masses are radiating that heat out. The kind of trippy picture on the slide shows the cooling purple that was taken by yours truly with this really cool infrared camera. Shows the cooling purple effect of the trees versus the hot yellow of a street. So we'll continue to explore opportunities to better identify these areas of the city so that mitigative cooling strategies can be deployed. This is the web platform. Just some examples there, but you can choose your actions based on their CO2 impact or on cost. Form teams with your neighbors or even friendly competitions. Available in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. And again, thanks here to Mothers Out Front for getting that so heavily promoted for us. Resources and performance tracking, definitely taking advantage of those subsidized climate action fellows mentioned in the mayor and council member memo. Those folks will be coming in to multiple departments, I believe, in January. We do still have our term limited positions in place to help us through the end of the ACCC challenge, which is now June of next year. While focusing on the delivery of quality work products under our grants, we'll continue to closely track and discuss as part of our Climate Smart technical working group other available opportunities and continue to pursue those funding sources. Also working with the mayor's office on strategies to go after the private philanthropic sources. And then our dashboard, we keep expanding our dashboard on about a monthly basis. We are trying to get our 2019 community-wide inventory wrapped up at the current time right now. And we did move our dashboard finally into a city web page after having it housed elsewhere for some time. Recognition, some big breakthroughs. We had been stuck at 11 on the ACCC challenge for some time. Being stuck at 11 is only good if you're a Spinal Tap fan. We finally broke through into the top 10, jumping up to number 9. So that was huge. And then the news that just came out yesterday is we're now a CDP or Carbon Disclosure Project A-list city. So both of these organizations provide their rankings after a very comprehensive review of all our climate and environmental achievements. So that's really nice recognition there. I am going to now show you that video. If I can find it. One second here. There we go.
Climate change is on everyone's mind, and I'm very, very proud of the city of San Jose for putting together the Climate Smart Action Plan and doing some amazing things to get in front of it all. I've been with the Santa Clara Valley Water District, now known, of course, as Valley Water, for almost 23 years. The number one use of energy in the state of California, the single largest use of energy in the state of California, is the transportation and treatment of water. So saving water has never been more important. I've always really tried to link how when you turn off a tap, it's like turning off a light switch. So saving water and saving energy are one and the same.
I run the Silicon Valley Bicycle Coalition. It is a nonprofit that our goal is to improve the community, the economy, the environment by getting folks to ride bikes for everyday use. I love doing what I do, and I love inspiring people to come together and accomplish great things together, especially in the transportation space. We have to address the cultural side of it, the behavioral side. What is it going to take to get people to try riding a bike and then to stay riding a bike and to develop new habits?
The bike just solves so many of our problems. If you can't afford a car, or if you have, if you're struggling financially, a bike is a really cheap way of getting around. If you care about the environment, as I do, the bike is a clean form of transportation.
But I'm very proud that San Jose is one of the most solar-friendly cities in the country. I think they're the second per capita in California, and I think the fourth in the country. And that's just a factor of the city's enthusiasm for technology and kind of the next great thing. I'm really intrigued about the whole concept of whole house electrification.
Uh-oh. All right.
You exceeded your public comment.
Yeah, I must have just hit some kind of time limit.
All right, Ken.
Oh, there we go.
Trying to restart it, or where we left off, or should we go to public comment and come back?
It's good for our economy.
Yeah, let's.
San Jose Climate Smart.
I think we're back up.
Okay, here we go.
That message with all the promotions that you're doing.
So basically, students from 3 different schools were competing to see how much energy that they could save within about a month. And we came here to share about our experiences and on ways we can conserve energy, and we also suggested them to our district.
Ryan and I and a couple of other people formed the Climate Warriors team, which was kind of a tongue-in-cheek name. So we formed a team, and then we started trying to do some climate smart actions. And Ryan is already very climate friendly in her life and very climate conscious. And so there was actually more for some of the rest of us to do.
I've been advocating for public transit. I've been attending VTA board meetings and getting public comments in order to improve and increase public transit, and now during COVID, we have to try to save it.
Climate Smart San Jose means that the city of San Jose as a community is trying to get to zero emissions so that we can help stop climate change and so that we can be a leader among cities in the United States in getting to zero emissions.
I think we all have to build up our muscle for thinking about climate and trying to make changes wherever we can. And then also take actions that are beyond our daily lives.
And talk to your friends about what you're doing, because people tend to be influenced by what their friends do. And if they see their friends make a change, they see that it's not so hard. So if you have a gas appliance that is getting old, make the effort to replace it with an electric version instead.
it feels much better to be doing something about this. I think a lot of people are scared, and it's good to take action, and we'll feel better. And there's so much great work to be done.
All right, we made it to the end. And we're happy to take any questions.
And I just wanted to add, before we go to public comment and questions, that that staff are very supportive of the memorandum from the mayor, Councilmember Jimenez, Perales, and Davis.
Great. Thanks, Carrie. Thanks, Ken. And thanks to everybody, Ramses and everybody on the team for pushing so hard. We'll go to the public for comments on this item. And Tessa Woodmansee, you're perfectly well lined up here to speak on this specific item, which is Climate Smart San Jose's semi-annual update.
Thank you. I guess the issue is the car, and we have to get rid of the car. And I know nobody wants to hear that because it's not economic growth and it's not all the corporations that fund your political campaigns. We have to get rid of the car. And the thing is, the electric car, you can say, oh, it's a bridge, just like we said natural gas was a bridge. We have no more time for bridges. And the thing is, we have to reduce so dramatically our fossil fuel use. It really is the bicycle. And the bicycle can be an electric bicycle. So, there are ways of making it work for a lot of people. Even if you have, mobility issues, you can have an electric bicycle because that's the type of reduction. And the issues of the car go far behind just the energy use. It's really a socially isolating event to drive in a car, and you're behind tinted windows, you're going very fast. And this is what changed under COVID. People said, oh, it's so nice, we're seeing people walk around our neighborhood. And this is human scale, that when we go by so fast, it isolates us. And so it's not human scale. The car is not human scale in and of itself. And these mental health issues are very critical as we are dealing with so many issues today. So even, creating the bicycle, one of our neighbors was discussing that somebody helped her with her bicycle when she got a flat. And I notice that all the time on my bicycle. People stop because they're not running around at 40 miles an hour, and they're not, so it's a community of people that help each other because it's human scale, and people are going by and they see that you're broken down. Oh, you need some help. Which you don't get from the car, and so it's really changing our whole paradigm to move away from the car completely. And this has to be implemented into all of our city projects, is to get away from the car.
Thank you. Blair Beekman.
Yeah, this was really what Tessa just said about car use. I learned an important lesson from her that even as we'll be making a push towards the electric car in this coming decade. It is not the end all be all, and that bicycles and pedestrian and hopefully the return of mass transit can, that was the heart of the lineup for our future, for my future anyway. And so thanks a lot for this item. It was nice to see community efforts. I mean, if you can connect those community efforts to local community energy ideas and just have Lori Mitchell come by every once in a while to give lectures and updates, I think that's hitting in the ballpark of where local community energy needs to be thinking and going. I mean, it really needs to gather its ideas around what we're going to do with our energy future as a local community, and what can be renewable ideas. And there's just the perfect combination, it seems, right now to develop those good practices of a community, just to be talking about the things and just, good conversation. And I mean, we cannot continue with the deals we made with nuclear with PG&E this past year. Were ridiculous because of this COVID time. So, we really got to gather together and get it together. And so I hope, you can be enthused to work with local community energy and how to do that. And with, what do I got here? I got 9 seconds left. Okay, so I guess that's about it. Good luck to VTA. They're doing good work with the community to build a happy community at this time. So thank you.
Thank you. Josh Quigley.
Thank you. I'm Josh Quigley. I'm policy manager for Save the Bay. Just want to say San Jose has shown bold leadership on climate mitigation by implementing this Climate Smart San Jose plan. However, the plan largely leaves adaptation and resilience strategies as topics for future consideration. San Jose needs to begin to seriously assess how to adapt to climate risks that are already here in ways that protect communities and improve quality of life for residents. One of the most effective steps that San Jose can take to become more climate resilient is to prioritize and coordinate a comprehensive plan to expand urban greening. Nature-based solutions like urban greening, including green streets, rain gardens, and urban tree canopy, don't just address one city priority, but support a whole host of climate adaptation benefits that are urgently needed. These strategies can alleviate the urban heat that Ken was describing, better manage more frequent rain events, improve air and water quality, make streets safer and more appealing for pedestrians and bicyclists, which is much more important now during shelter in place when people need safe outdoor space in their neighborhoods. And in addition to enhancing San Jose's climate resilience, prioritizing urban greening directly supports multiple mitigation goals of Climate Smart San Jose, including water conservation, sequestration, reduction of energy use, and mode shift to public transit. The city's current green stormwater plan recognizes these benefits, but the plan lacks timelines, project lists, and potential funding sources for above ground urban greening elements. So Save the Bay and our partners at Greenbelt Alliance have submitted letters advocating that the City Council include a comprehensive and coordinated urban greening strategy as a priority in 2021, because it's a single strategy that results in multiple significant environmental and community benefits. We appreciate the direction that the mayor and several council members have offered today to leverage the Climate Action Corps partnership to support these adaptation and mitigation strategies, and just urge you to consider to adopt green or urban greening as a strategy for this priority. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Alex Shore.
Hey, y'all. This is Alex Shore, Executive Director of Catalyze SV. So much good stuff, so much amazing stuff in this report today. And I want to thank everyone, but I'll not be able to get to everyone. So I'll start with Carrie Romanow. Thanks for a great report from you and your team. Thank you, Mayor Liccardo, Councilmember Jimenez, Councilmember Perales, and Councilmember Davis for your memo. Anytime an organization like ours sees the word community engagement and bringing in community-based organizations as part of the city's plan, we want to give 3 cheers to that. What a wonderful way to continue to engage the community through some of the assets you already have in the community. So if we can support you at all in that, please let us know. But we're just so delighted about this. Other great stuff that stood out tonight was Ramsey's talking about the TDM manager. Part of when we come to you as an organization that advocates for projects is we're trying to get projects as good as possible. And one of the ways we try to get them as good as possible is to reach the goals of the Climate Smart Plan. So when you come and you hear us talk about less parking and more forms of mobility besides the individually driven automobile, and more homes in urban villages than what, say, the developer might have proposed right off the bat, this is why we are doing it. And we are so delighted by the efforts and the strides and the progress you're making. We will continue to support that as we advocate for more sustainable, equitable, and vibrant places for people here in Silicon Valley. Thanks.
Thanks, Alex. Linda Hutchins-Knowles.
Hi, everybody. Linda Hutchins is up front. It's been a long day. Sorry, I'm talking fast. Thank you for the update on the Climate Smart Plan. We were so excited when you adopted it in 2018, and we really appreciate the hard work of staff across many departments to implement such innovative ways to become a more sustainable city and serve as a model for others. We're really proud to be part of the Climate Smart Challenge, having hired 2 promotoras that speak Vietnamese and Spanish. We want to give a shout out for the key support of staff like Ken Davies at Eileen Almeida in helping us reach these hard to reach communities, especially in the time of COVID. Of course, taking individual actions is just one part of this. It's really important, of course, to have climate smart policies. And we are really excited about the proposed rezoning of North Coyote Valley and hopefully in 2 weeks, banning all gas from all new buildings. So we really appreciate that. We want to bring up one other idea. As you work to decarbonize buildings in a way that centers health and equity, we urge you to consider creating a similar incentive program like the heat pump water heater rebate for induction stove cooktops. This will improve health and safety and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. It will also advance equity. Communities of color are suffering from COVID disproportionately, and breathing polluted air increases mortality rates from COVID. Did you know that children growing up in homes with gas stoves are 42% more likely to experience symptoms of asthma? It's a very serious issue that many people are not aware of. They don't know how dangerous their gas stoves are. So we think the city, you could take a lead role, and what is up front is standing by to partner with you. We participated in a study with Sierra Club, RMI, and PSR on these. So we want to help spread the word and also make sure people can afford to switch out to induction stoves, which are the latest and greatest. Finally, I just want to put in one more plug for the Climate Smart Challenge. As of tonight, 492 households have signed up. Maybe you can be the 500th, help us reach our goal. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's come back to the council. I really want to thank, again, the entire team and all the many partners who've been working so hard with us on this. Also want to thank on my own team, Lily Guggenheim and Scott Green for their work on the memo, and to all my colleagues who also participated and worked on that. Let's go to Councilmember Deb Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. I was trying to find it because I know I just read it in either in the paper or somewhere in the last couple of days that San Jose is #1 in EV adoption in the entire country. And we also have more charging stations. I know we have the best infrastructure for electric vehicle charging. So I was trying to find it, couldn't find it again, but I just wanted to put that out there. It wasn't something that was in the presentation, but we are well on our way. And also just want to highlight both the bike plan and the access and mobility plan are about giving people real options for how they get around in our city. And I think it's such a huge step forward into what Carrie calls the Good Life 2.0. It gives people real options. It levels the transportation field, the getting around field, as opposed to the playing field. So I'm really excited about all those things in our Climate Smart update. And I just wanted to reiterate and thank Carrie and staff for supporting our memo. I think it's time for us to walk our talk, and I'm looking forward to hopefully getting funding for a TDM coordinator for the city so that we can reduce our city employee solo auto commute trips. I think that's going to be a really important way to demonstrate our commitment to reducing the transportation greenhouse gas emissions. And then the other thing we didn't really talk about too much, I just want to make sure people are aware, is that we're asking for a zero emission neighborhood pilot. And that's going to be hopefully in a neighborhood that has suffered disproportionately from pollution. So it will do two things. It's a proof point for us to be able to replicate across the city and other neighborhoods, but it also is part of our equity work and bringing that in, as Carrie, as you stated in the beginning, that inclusivity is a very important part of our Climate Smart plan, and we built that in the beginning. So with that, I will move the memo that I co-authored with the mayor and my colleagues, council members Jimenez and Perales.
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Davis. Other questions or comments from the council? I just had a couple quick ones. One is, I noticed in the item that we're going to take on shortly with regard to our update to our general plan with the GHG analysis that we do, we have data for 2017. And I appreciate it's not an easy feat to do an entire GHG inventory for a city of 1 million people. But is there any back of the envelope type work that we can do to update it on a more annual basis until I know you got to go get a bunch of consultants to go figure it out on every 3 or 4 years, but there's a way for us to track in our semi-annual updates or whatever.
So
Yeah.
Mayor,
Go
Mayor
ahead.
Liccardo, we actually do that annually, and Ken's leading that team, but we'll coordinate more closely with planning to ensure that what we're doing 100% aligns with the process that they're moving forward on, and see where we can combine those two actions together.
Okay, yeah, I guess if you're saying you're already doing it annually, I don't want to make you do more work. Just helpful for us to, keep thinking we ought to have a big thermometer bar chart or something somewhere that we can.
And we do have that. Ken, is that on the dashboard that you can show?
Yeah. Just to clarify, we alternate each year. So what, like 2018 would be a municipal inventory, 2019 will go back to community wide, and we'll keep alternating that way.
Okay.
We don't think we'll see the needle move so fast that we would need to do that annually. And we do have a fantastic data analytics lead now in-house, and she can do all that stuff for us without pricey consultants. So that's great.
We love that. Thank you. Yeah, because I noticed there was really a lot to cheer about, to jump ahead a couple items. I think we had reduced per capita GHG emissions about 29%, I think, between 2008 and 2017. And that was before we even launched San Jose Clean Energy. And I know we got lots, and that's what we expect to be a big source of our GHG savings. So it seems to me there's a lot for us to be able to point to, and hopefully, as you show momentum, people get more excited and they want to do more. So anyway, thank you again for all the great work. Any questions? All right, let's vote then on Councilmember Davis's motion.
Jimenez? Jimenez?
Yes.
Morales?
Aye.
Yep.
Aye.
Roscoe?
Aye.
Davis?
Aye.
Esparza?
Yes.
Arenas?
Yes.
Foley?
Aye.
Camus? Camus?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Liccardo?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's move on now to 10.2, I believe, which is an appeal of the hearing for the site development permit and tentative map permit for real property located at 6805 Almaden Road. And I believe Rosalind's here for a presentation, is that right?
Yes, Mayor, we do have a short presentation, and I will share my screen now. Okay. So thank you, Mayor, Council, members of the public. Rosalind Huey, Director for Planning, Building, and Code Enforcement.
Rosalind, we're not able to hear you right now, is there?
Okay, can you hear me now, Mayor?
Yeah, now I can, yes.
Okay, great. My apologies. So this land use item is an appeal of the planning director's approval of the tentative subdivision map and site development permit file number H19-039 for the 6-lot single-family subdivision project located at 6805 Almaden Road. The project was approved at the September 16th, 2020 Planning Director's hearing as it was in conformance with the general plan and city ordinances and policies. An appeal was filed on September 23rd by Lance and Karen Danby. The appellants listed the grounds for the appeal to include conformance with the general plan, the layout of the subdivision, creating a key lot for Lot 6, concerns with the 2-story home on Lot 6, and concerns about the 5-foot side setback for Lot 6. Since staff prepared the council memorandum for the appeal, the applicant and the appellant reached an agreement and notified city staff last week. Staff issued a supplemental memorandum today to detail the agreement, which includes changing the street frontage width for Lot 5 from 72 feet to 58 feet, changing the area of Lot 5 from 9,190 square feet to 8,400 square feet, increasing the width of the street frontage for Lot 6 from 132 feet to 146 feet, increasing the area of Lot 6 from 10,200 square feet to 10,980 square feet, increasing the side setback on Lot 6 from 5 feet to 9 feet, and then changing the step back on the home on Lot 6 from 10.5 feet to 18 feet. This slide shows the changes on the site plan. In order to accommodate a larger setback and size for Lot 6, changes were made to Lot 5 to reduce the width of the street frontage and to reduce the lot size. After reviewing the proposed changes from the applicant, staff determined that these changes do not negate the conformance findings made in the original tentative map and site development permit. And staff has updated the tentative map resolution and site development permit resolution to reflect these changes. So staff recommends that the City Council consider the exemption pursuant to section 15332 of the guidelines to CEQA for infill development projects and adopt the amended resolutions for the tentative map and site development permit and approve the project. And Mayor, I understand that both the appellant and the applicant are on the call now.
Great. All right, let's begin with the appellant. And I think
say appellant or applicant?
5 minutes, is that right, Nora?
I've got my hand up.
Okay, we're having a hard time. Let me try to. Okay, Lance, Danby, thank you.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. You hear me?
I was scrolling down and missing you.
Do you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, everything that Ms. Huey said is exactly what I agreed to with the developer. So yeah, I agree, and let's get on with it. Looks like a good project.
Great, thank you, sir. That was easy enough.
Well, it's because we reached an agreement. That's why it was easy.
Okay, all right. Is the applicant wish to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory?
John, my name is no, thank you. I agree with everything that's been said.
Okay, thank you. Maybe John can go out to the Middle East and solve problems out there for us after this. All right, we'll go to the public. If there are any comments from the public on this item 10.2, the appeal hearing for the site development permit and tentative map on Almaden Road. I see nobody raising their hand. We'll come back to the council. Councilman Camus.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, and I appreciate the developer working with the applicant on this issue, and I will move to approve the staff recommendation.
Second.
That's a motion and second. Councilmember Foley, did you want to speak?
I just wanted to say it's great when two parties come together, reach a negotiation, and are happy with the outcome.
Amen.
So let's vote.
How often do we get that at City Council? Okay, let's vote.
Jimenez? Jimenez?
Yes.
Liz?
Aye.
Yep.
Aye.
Roscoe?
Aye.
Davis?
Aye.
Esparza?
Yes.
Arenas?
Yes.
Foley?
Aye.
Camus?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Ricardo?
Aye.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Item 10.3 is the plan development zoning and plan development permit for property on Alum Rock Avenue. There's also a presentation here. Rosalind?
Yes, Mayor, there is. So we are very excited to bring this particular project to City Council for its consideration. This is the Little Portugal Gateway Project, located at 1661 through 1665 Alum Rock Avenue, just west of King Road. The site is just under an acre and is located in the Little Portugal Urban Village. The site is comprised of 3 different lots. There is an existing 7-unit single-story apartment building and 3 commercial buildings on the site. I wanted to provide the council just a little bit of context on the site and the surrounding area, as there is significant development activity along the Alum Rock corridor. The subject property site is located in the lower left corner of the map indicated by the red star. Just east of the site is the Cutzel Gardens affordable housing project, which is currently under construction and consists of 71 units and 11,400 square feet of retail space. Going further east is a project proposal by the Pacific Companies shown as file number CP015 at 1936 Alum Rock Avenue. This is a 5-story mixed-use project comprised of 194 units and 3,000 square feet of retail space. Next, in the center of the map is file number CP20-001, which is another project proposed by Silicon Sage. This is a 796 mixed-use project with 28,000 square feet of commercial uses. And the last project shown on the map is file number CP20-025. This is a 100% affordable housing proposal, also by the Pacific Companies, for 166 affordable housing units and 8,000 square feet of retail space. So with the proposed Little Portugal Gateway project, these 5 projects along the Alum Rock corridor total 1,350 residential units and nearly 65,000 square feet of commercial space. So we are seeing significant investment along this corridor with new development proposals that will certainly help the city meet its housing goals. The Little Portugal Gateway project includes a planned development zoning and a planned development permit to demolish the existing structures, remove 38 trees, including 6 ordinance-sized trees, and construct a 6-story mixed-use building consisting of 13,650 square feet of ground floor retail space and 123 apartment units, with 2 levels of underground parking for 170 parking spaces. In compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act, an initial study and mitigated negative declaration with an associated mitigation monitoring and reporting program were prepared for the project. The documents were circulated for public review from July 28th through August 17th of this year. Impacts to air quality, biological resources, hazards and hazardous materials, and noise were identified. However, these impacts are reduced to less than significant with the implementation of mitigation measures. There was significant community outreach on this project, and 3 community meetings were held last year. And I also want to note that the applicant also engaged with the Alum Rock Business Association as well as Somas Mayfair. I also want to highlight that the last community meeting held on November 18th of last year was the opportunity for community members to share their preferences on the project design and amenities, including the special decorative paving on the sidewalk, location of the benches, planters, tree gates, wall and lighting accents, and the building color scheme. The applicant also provided visuals of the proposed ground floor commercial space layout, including opportunities for smaller commercial tenants. On October 28th, the Planning Commission considered the project and recommended that the city council adopt a resolution adopting the Little Portugal Gateway mixed-use project, mitigated negative declaration and related MMRP, and approve the rezoning ordinance and adopt a resolution approving the planned development permit conditions. And that concludes my presentation. Mayor, I understand that representatives of Silicon Sage are on the call to also provide some remarks.
Thank you. I think I saw Sanjeev try his name. Sanjeev, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. So, Honorable Mayor, council members, city staff, and the community members, it's been nearly 3 years of a lot of hard work with support from city staff and feedback from city staff and community members that we have evolved this project to what it is today. And we're proud to present this. And without any further delay, I would like Shivali to take over and do the presentation. Shivali is our Director of Design. Please go ahead, Shivali.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and city staff and community members. Actually, can I share my screen so I can show the presentation?
Please do. I think we're enabling it now.
He's been promoted to panelist, so should be able to share.
You able to share now? Okay. Well, you should be able to share now. There you go.
Yes. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Excellent. So I think most of it is greatly covered by Rosalind. As we said, it's a Little Portugal Gateway project. It is on Alum Rock Avenue between King Road and North 34th Street, across the street from Mexican Heritage Plaza. And this shows the existing uses. Some of the key features and amenities, as Rosalind mentioned, that we are doing is providing 13,650 square foot of retail facing Alum Rock, including the 3,000 square foot of marketplace for micro businesses. It is a pedestrian-oriented design with widened and active sidewalk to encourage walking and gathering with positive walking experience. It is a cohesive development of 3 parcels. Our design also celebrates the historic, heritage of Portuguese and Mexican architecture. Yeah, we are doing, beautification of the street and sidewalk by displaying art, planting new trees and landscaping. We are also providing a lot of TDM measures, on-site kiosks, transit passes, bike parking, and we are trying to give identity to this project by naming it Little Portugal Gateway. It is 123 units in 5 stories above retail, with 5 studios, 87 one-bedroom and 31 two-bedroom, and 2 levels of underground parking garage. We have taken design inspiration, as I mentioned, from Portuguese architecture and some Mediterranean elements. And as Rosalind mentioned, with multiple charades with this community, we developed this color scheme. This image shows how the widened street walk will give a great pedestrian experience as well as a easy access to commercial. This slide shows the commercial in blue color with the parking at the back. The dark blue in the front is what we are proposing as an open marketplace, especially for small businesses. And this is the kind of imagery we had in mind. It could be great for, smaller kiosks, smaller food vendors, to display local art, to display local history. We evolved this design after a lot of inputs from community. We are also providing a small plaza, again, for small gatherings. And the residential units are located around a central courtyard with amenities like barbecue, sit out, community room, in addition to providing a roof garden amenity as well. We are also very respectful to the residential neighborhood behind by stepping our building to create the daylight plane and protect their privacy. And here are some additional community benefits we are proposing, like street benches, um, stamped concrete paving, accented light fixtures, and the very important one, we feel it would be great to celebrate the history of this area, Alum Rock being one of the oldest road in San Jose and a Grand Boulevard by general plan designation. It would be great if we can celebrate its history by putting some historic plaques on the front wall of the building facing Alum Rock. So we are really proud to present this project, and we hope you can consider it. Thank you.
Thank you, Shivali. Thank you, Sajeev. I love the design and the colors. It's fantastic. We'll go now to the public. Blair Beekman.
Hi. These projects look familiar to me, like what was being talked about at City Council, I guess about a week ago, about what the future of housing can look like along Alum Rock Avenue, and the goals you're trying to go for. And I was a bit skeptical last week. It sounded a bit of a gentrified process that you're learning to explain, like with the examples of Albuquerque, and that are of interest to myself. And it's just a matter of how to line up how you're talking about, the future of what gentrification can mean. And it's a tough word, but it seems like your affordable one of the homes on the end of the Alum Rock Road has 100% affordable housing. Hopefully you can make plans to have a varied range of people in such a place, varied incomes. That's an important concept, I feel, at this time, to address a number of issues and a number of future zoning issues as well. It could be of help to yourselves to be able to work from people from a $60,000 range to a $30,000 to be in the same place that's an interesting idea to work on, and or even 70-30, 80-30. So good luck in your thinking and patience and learning. And it sounds like these are some good ideas here. So thank you.
Thank you. Alex Shore, welcome.
It's a neat coincidence that the city was talking about a TDM manager for the employees of the city, and here we are talking about TDM. It's neat that we're talking about parking reforms earlier, and there's a point I'd like to make about that. Catalyze SV didn't score this project, so I tend not to talk about development projects until our members have had a chance to weigh in. But I did want to note, as I was looking through the agenda, I came across this item and saw some good stuff in there, including transit passes and unbundled parking, which are two excellent ways to support our extremely important transit system and to discourage folks from purchasing and driving automobiles. And yet, whether it's somewhat the choice of the developer or probably more likely the constraints of the city, they are required to provide so many parking spaces for not that many units. And it's just crazy that the city's requirement is 1.25 parking spaces for a studio apartment. And it's also crazy that only 36 bike parking spots are required, and yet 34 motorcycle parking spots are required for this project. So for me, this is an example of a developer looking forward to try to reduce parking and increase other forms of mobility, and yet continuing to be constrained by city requirements So we've got to look at ways to allow developers to build less parking and more homes, more active ground floor, so that these shackles that are around them can be taken off and we can build better projects in our community.
Thank you, Alex. Ravi Jagan?
Hi, I'm a new resident to San Jose. I've just purchased a property to move in about a mile away. I'm here to voice my support for this project, and it has retail and both living spaces and retail, and I think it'll do well for the local economy to be to increase the development and make also the entire area more attractive for professionals like myself to move in. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike Priolo?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for your time. Yeah, my name is Mike Priolo. I'm actually a San Jose native, and I work in the commercial real estate industry. I wanted to weigh in on this project and just kind of show my support. I think, you know, from a development standpoint, it checks a lot of boxes. Housing supply is, you know, a major issue, and I think everyone knows that. But I think what's unique about the project is its sensitivity to the cultural aspect of Little Portugal. The open markets, the Mediterranean architecture, I think show the developer's attention to detail and wanting to make something that is contributory and sensitive to the local culture. So again, I think it's a great project, and I hope it passes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, Poli Sci? Polly, welcome.
Hello, yeah, my name is Polly Chai. I really appreciate the developer developed this great project. You can see a lot of detail, and then I like the idea mixed use. So even I think they also think about a lot how they want to, what kind of retail space they want to use. So a lot of detail and the beautiful design. Look at the outside of those colors is very beautiful. And right now it's not a lot of construction going on, and hopefully have something happen in the community. That would be great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. David Amaro?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm particularly intrigued by this project. The color scheme, at the first time I looked at it, was a little bit bold, and then I started thinking about my own heritage, which is Portuguese, and it kind of grew on me, and I think it looks fabulous. What a great idea to sort of revitalize the area. I love the open air concept, the retail. And the sort of the nod to the new transit systems that are going on in the city. So I'm all for this thing.
Thank you. All right, we'll come back to council. Councilmember Carrasco, congratulations.
Hi, Mayor. Thank you so much. Well, I want to congratulate Sanjeev and Shavila and Rosalind and her whole team for working so hard on this one particular development. I have to tell you, you know, we talk about all of the activity that's going on the east side of San Jose, and of course, Alum Rock right now is creating a great deal of interest and just a lot of folks that are looking to see how to improve the quality of life on the east side of San Jose. And of course, well, we're here to make sure that that does happen. And this development is one that we're very proud of, that's finally coming before all of you, and hope to gain your support. As Rosalind had pointed out, you saw the different developments. They'll be coming before you at some point as well, and more. We're just getting a lot of interest, but I'll tell you what I'm particularly impressed with is the number of community meetings that took place. Some of them were not easy. This is a difficult conversation to have with a community that has not seen this kind of activity. They want to make sure that their community is well taken care of, that it's well represented. Sanjeev and his team did a great job in appeasing and calming some of the concerns and some of the fears. I don't think that we can always agree on everything, but this is as close as we can get. It's a beautiful development with really a great opportunity for the community to participate indoors as well and have a little kiosk or a little a space where they can sell their goods and provide services. I'm very, very pleased with it. I'm particularly proud of the fact that the community participated in envisioning what they wanted to see as they drove down one of the most beautiful roads in our city. For those of you who haven't ventured east of 101, I invite you to come on out and take it all the way to the hills. It'll take you right into the Alum Rock Park, where you can go and hike and enjoy a barbecue and really spend some beautiful time and make wonderful memories. And we'll be celebrating the 150th anniversary of the regional park that a lot of people don't know about. It was the oldest and the first park in California. The who's who's of the who's who's used to trek it out here all the way from Hollywood, Beverly Hills, all over California, just to bring in their friend group and enjoy the sulfur waters, which is interesting to me, in fact. But it was quite an attraction. It was when we think about placemaking, this was on the natural. It happened very naturally, and it was really an attraction for many Californians. So thank you so much, Sanjeev, Shivali, for all of the work that you've invested in your energy coming into the neighborhood. What we want at the end of the day is that our neighbors are happy with what comes in, that they're part of the design and transformation of their communities, and that those who will be either moving into the property from their current home or newcomers to our community, that everybody feels included in this process. So I really appreciate your efforts, and again, appreciate that you took the community's input into very, very serious consideration and came into the community with a great deal of respect. And with that, I'm going to make a motion to approve the development.
Second.
Okay, so that's all the staff recommendations. Is that right, Councilor Carrasco?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Any other questions or comments? All right, let's vote.
Jimenez,
Yes.
Morales,
Aye.
Yep,
Aye.
Roscoe,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Arenas,
Yes.
Foley,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Ricardo.
Aye. Okay, we're going to open the general plan hearing for the second cycle of 2020. Do I need a motion to do that, Nora? Okay, I just open it.
You can just open it.
All right, I'm opening it. Here we go. All right, I said it. Now, we're on to item 10.4, which is the general plan text amendment for the greenhouse gas reduction strategy update. And we do have a presentation. This is the last item of the evening.
Yes, Mayor, we do have a brief presentation, and we're excited to end this evening reiterating the Good Life 2.0 theme that we spoke about earlier in the evening with the update on Climate Smart San Jose. We have David Keon, who is our principal planner for our environmental team, who will present this item to the council. I'll turn it over to you, David.
Thank you, Rosalind. Good evening, Mayor and members of City Council. This is David Keon, Principal Planner for the Department of Planning, Building, and Code Enforcement. So before you tonight is the 2030 Greenhouse Gas Reduction Strategy. The purpose of this document is to update the city's greenhouse gas reduction strategy that was a part of the general plan adopted in 2011 to allow tiering and streamlining for project-level greenhouse gas emissions analysis under CEQA, California Environmental Quality Act, until 2030. This strategy provides a framework to achieve statewide greenhouse gas reduction targets for 2030 as required by Senate Bill 32. It develops emission targets consistent with the state's adopted interim. Just have to get this. Excuse me, with the adopted state's interim 2030 greenhouse gas reduction target, which is 40% below 1990 levels in 2030. This is an interim target towards the overarching goal of meeting 2050 statewide targets of 80% below 1990 levels in 2050. It identifies city policies, plans, and programs that contribute to greenhouse gas reductions that reach the city's 2030s targets. And this includes policies within the 2040 General Plan and other city programs. Finally, and importantly for private development applications, it includes a checklist for new development projects to demonstrate consistency to meet these 2030 reduction targets. Next slide, please. So just some background. So the previous greenhouse gas reduction strategy adopted with the general plan in 2011 and updated in 2015 essentially provided a reduction for AB 32 targets to 1990 levels by 2020. This reduction strategy provided CEQA streamlining for projects that were found consistent with policies in the general plan, in particular, the general plan land use and transportation diagram. However, with the adoption of Senate Bill 32, the greenhouse gas reduction strategy would need to be updated to meet 2030 targets. As we know, we're now in 2020, so now has to be updated to meet the next target year. In the interim, projects that come before review by the city have to demonstrate greenhouse gas analysis on the project level. This means that they will have to do quantitative analysis, usually by an air quality consultant, and in some cases have to do extra mitigation measures. This project-by-project way of doing greenhouse gas emissions analysis can penalize certain types of projects that maybe would have a low service populations, meaning they have low numbers of employees or residents, such as hotels. Therefore, the preferred way to approach greenhouse gas reduction strategy is to be part of a reduction strategy, an overall plan. Next slide, please. So what is the relationship between the greenhouse gas reduction strategy, the general plan, and Climate Smart San Jose, as we saw earlier this evening? The 2030 greenhouse gas reduction strategy is consistent with the major strategies and policies of the general plan. In fact, it builds upon these because it requires new projects coming through to determine conformance with these policies as part of the strategy. In addition, it includes additional reduction measures to achieve the 2030 reduction emissions target based on existing city programs. And these city programs, many of which have come from Climate Smart San Jose. It also includes an updated emissions forecast to align with build-out of the general plan. And this includes the 2018 adoption of the city's vehicle miles travel policy. Furthermore, the emissions reductions measures in the 2030 greenhouse gas reduction strategy are consistent with those in the Climate Smart San Jose. However, I do want to make a difference. Climate Smart San Jose is an overarching city policy and visionary document. This document is solely focused on reduction of greenhouse gas emissions for the purpose of streamlining analysis for CEQA review, so projects can determine that they comply with the requirements of CEQA. Next slide, please. The greenhouse gas reduction strategy is based on 7 key strategies in addition to compliance with the San Jose General Plan. These strategies include implementation of San Jose Clean Energy for commercial and residential customers, implementation of the REACH code and the prohibition on natural gas in new residential construction, assistance and incentives for rooftop solar and other renewable energy development, existing building retrofits, in particular, retrofitting buildings to remove natural gas and replace with electricity, a zero waste goal, the Caltrain modernization project, and water conservation. Next slide, please. This graph shows on the top line, the very top solid line, shows the existing trajectory of greenhouse gas emissions based upon existing city policies and based on state and federal requirements. As you can see, it's already going down. However, it is not meeting the proposed 2030 greenhouse gas reduction 2030 greenhouse gas reductions target, which is the thick dotted line. With the greenhouse gas reduction strategy implementation, the thin dotted line, as you see, would bring it below those targets, meaning that the city would demonstrate that it would comply with CEQA for meeting these greenhouse gas reduction targets for 2030. Next slide, please. So how is this implemented? So applicants and environmental consultants, as part of their CEQA process, when they're having a project go through the environmental review and development review process, will complete an application checklist. This checklist can actually be accommodated within an initial study or EIR in the greenhouse gas section of that document. So applicants and consultants supported by substantial evidence must demonstrate the following in the compliance checklist in the document. The first and overarching requirement is they must demonstrate general plan policy compliance. And second, must demonstrate either the greenhouse gas reduction strategy compliance with major strategies, or in some cases, the applicant propose alternative measures that would reach the same reduction targets. If the applicant decides to go with option C, they will have to then do their own project level analysis of how those reduction measures will reduce the greenhouse gas reduction targets. Such measures may include things like enhanced transportation demand management or even carbon offsets. City staff are available to answer any questions. We also have the consultants from AECOM and David J. Powers on hand to answer any more detailed questions. Thank you. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you, David. Rosalind, do you have anything further on this?
No, Mayor, that concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you very much. All right, let's go to the public before we discuss further. Blair Beekman.
Hi, to try to politely connect items 6.1 and 6.3 to this item, current natural gas reduction ideas of San Jose City government has created good examples for a few years now. It leaves San Jose in a very good place to help better address the future of fracking and fossil fuel use into the late 2020s, and can possibly very much help an upcoming Biden-Harris administration and how they can better address this issue. Is there a way people want to start to connect this good work of limiting the future of natural gas use in San Jose with the positive good work that is possible with local community energy? It may be time to begin to organize more clear renewable ideas and goals for San Jose local community energy ideas. Simple, decent conversations and dialogue with friends, city staff, and city officials can interestingly apply an extraordinary amount of good-minded pressure and begin to better ask about nuclear power and its economy that is actually fueling most local community energy programs around the entire Bay Area at this time. This is a concept that should be abhorrent to the importance of renewable energy and sustainable community democracy that is at the heart of local community energy ideas and plans. It will be important to differentiate in the future between renewable energy and clean energy that relies on nuclear to work towards carbon-free goals. Local community energy in the California Central Coast and Sonoma counties are learning how to opt out of their nuclear energy packages, much as Mayor Liccardo is currently learning how to opt out of natural gas use for the future of San Jose. Thank you.
Thank you. Alex Shore?
Sorry to be back again, y'all. Thanks, Rosalind and David, for the awesome work. Really important stuff. It will definitely help us as we do advocacy for amazing projects in San Jose. So thank you for bringing this forward.
Thank you, Alex. All right, let's come back to the council now. Councilmember Davis.
Thank you. Just one question on the strategies slide. It had San Jose Clean Energy on there and it said 98% participation. I just wanted to check if that's, if we kind of did a sensitivity test on whether we're able to meet those 2030 goals at a different level of participation, given our earlier discussion and the possibility of people opting out over time, sometime in the next 10 to 20 years, if we have to adapt to continued rising PCIA fees, for example.
Thank you, Councilmember. So the San Jose Clean Energy is a program that projects that come in are automatically enrolled in. They'd have to opt out of it. Therefore, it is considered to be one of the easiest ways to achieve the greenhouse gas reductions. However, we will be updating and doing new greenhouse gas emissions inventories as part of the 4-year general plan reviews and seeing how these strategies are working. And if some of the strategies aren't working, like San Jose Clean Energy, maybe more people are opting out, we may have to update and do other strategies to continue on to with meeting our targets. So that, but if you want any more detailed questions, I could have Josh Letham with AECOM, respond if you want.
I guess my question is, are we relying on that 98% participation in order to meet the target? If we had 95% participation, would we still meet our target? Or what's the level of participation that we need to be able to meet the target is the question.
Yeah, I think I'd defer to Josh Latham because he did the modeling work from AECOM and he's actually in the attendees list. So I don't know if you can unmute him. His hand's raised.
Could you repeat his name? Oh, I'm sorry.
Josh Latham?
Josh Latham. Okay.
Yeah. Actually,
He's now on the
or
panel.
did he just get brought over? Okay.
He's on the panel.
Yeah, okay.
He hasn't raised his hand yet. Josh, you're on mute if you're trying to speak right now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can. Thanks.
Okay, great. Given the earlier presentation from San Jose Clean Energy, I assumed this question would come up. I didn't think it would be number one, but we did not do a sensitivity test to figure out precisely what the participation rate would need to be to achieve the target. But what we did do was select a package of strategies with reductions that had some leeway within them. So to achieve the target, we would need to demonstrate reductions totaling approximately 845,000 metric tons. The package of actions we put together provide approximately 1.2 million metric tons. So there's a gap, or there's an excess of approximately 350,000 metric tons. And doing some quick scans of the numbers here, that is about, it looks like you could chop off the participation from the clean electricity action. You could cut it in about half and still come up with sufficient reductions if the other strategies are implemented as estimated. So there is wiggle room within there. And as David mentioned, the GHGRS should be an iterative living plan with future updates to make sure that the estimated reductions are actually occurring. If they're not, take corrective action at that time to make sure that you can come up with sufficient reductions in another place.
Thank you, Josh. And I don't think that we would get to that low of a participation rate. So I really appreciate that it is not, to me, that's a great back of the envelope calculation and gives me a lot of comfort, because I don't anticipate that we would be comfortable losing even getting to 90% participation. So I really appreciate that. I'm happy to move staff recommendation.
Second.
Thank you. Motion second. Yeah, I had a question just looking at the table B, which is on page 9 of the report, at the reduction potential of different GHG reduction strategies. And it appears that retrofitting existing buildings, just going to 2030, retrofitting existing buildings is 5 times the impact of the new construction mandates. So I guess my question is, what exactly, I mean, all of our mandates that we've been focused on for the most part, as I can tell, are on new construction. Can somebody help me fill in the gap in my mind about what we're doing around retrofits?
Susie Mayor, which, oh, go on. Oh, Jared? Okay. you
Yeah,
got
sure.
this.
I can
Okay.
try to answer that. So Jared Hart, Division Manager with Citywide Planning. While I don't have a lot of details on it, I can say that the city does have a benchmarking ordinance for existing commercial buildings,
Right.
which is currently being implemented. So that's at least one strategy and an ordinance that's currently being implemented to focus on our existing buildings.
Right, and the hope is that by making that the energy usage and consumption in the building transparent, it'll affect valuation, which will drive retrofits. Is that the thought?
Correct, yeah.
But beyond that, which I understand, it can be an important, means by making it transparent. I think it's certainly a help. We don't. I mean, beyond the California Building Code, we're not doing anything ourselves to prod retrofits that'll get us the 200,000. Is that megatons carbon dioxide? The 200,000. It seems to be, close to between 15 and 20% of our total GHG reductions is dependent on that strategy. Do we really believe that is sufficient? I'd be happy to hear from the consultant, so I know we're crunching the numbers. David?
Yeah, I don't know which table you're looking at.
Well, I'm sorry, again, table B, which is on page 9, describes the 2030 GHG reduction strategies and reduction potential.
Okay.
So it's just beneath the table that you showed in the slide regarding the different slopes of the lines. This one actually breaks it down into the different components, the 7 general components that make up the total. Reductions needed for 2030.
I see. Yeah, part of this is also building on existing city programs that we already have in place and also general plan goals. So, and for existing building retrofits, how this would apply in the CEQA process is if somebody is coming in and let's say they're doing a remodel and an addition of like a major office building, then they would demonstrate compliance of this and mention, yes, in addition to doing the addition, we're also remodeling and doing retrofits to remove natural gas. That would be how they would demonstrate compliance of that.
Right.
Now, in terms of how that would get at those numbers, I think that would be a Josh question, because he's the.
Do you actually have to have everybody shutting off natural gas in their building retrofit to get to this 208,000 metric tons?
These are much more math-oriented questions for 9:45 at night than I was into.
Sorry. I'm just trying to figure out how we all get there. That's all.
Yeah.
Is that
so those calculations? Those calculations are not that value. That 208,000 is not all natural gas goes away in the city. That is not the underlying assumption there.
Yeah, agreed. But does it assume that all the retrofits that are conducted will remove natural gas from the building?
It was based more on a per capita energy reduction than looking at it on a project by project basis, and that was to align it with. And I lost my page. As David mentioned, we had tried to find existing goals, policies, and programs that were already adopted and being implemented by the city.
Yeah.
To in this plan quantify what the impact of those actions would be. And this one particularly relates to general plan goal MS2 and to the Climate Smart San Jose Strategy 2.2. And unfortunately, I don't have the text of both of those in front of me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to take this offline. I'm sorry to.
Sure.
I'm looking at the relative savings of the different strategies, and it's apparent from the numbers where we need to be focusing our energy. And certainly, Councilmember Davis is right to raise the question about PCIA charges, because, it seems like more than half of our savings are coming from our utility. Anyway, thank you very much.
On that point, I think when you start looking at the relative contribution of these different strategies, something that skews those results are that one of your largest reduction sources is coming from implementation of your general plan land use and mobility elements, because the emissions forecasts are based on what that future VMT will be, the vehicle miles traveled within the community. So those are built into your future scenario. If it was possible to isolate those as a standalone strategy, then that would be a sizable share of emissions, which would then shrink the relative contribution of these other actions. Just to put that into context a little bit, the numbers get a little bit skewed because that large impactful transportation action is built into the future scenario.
Okay. All right, thank you. Councilor Diab?
Yes, thanks, Mayor. I just wanted to ask quickly, in regards to greenhouse gas emissions and was it zero net buildings, what is our standard for measuring that? And the reason I ask is because I think years ago when we were, first discussing Climate Smart, I made an offhand comment and incorporated it into a motion. And I don't know if staff recalls, but my thinking is when we do, most cities measure net zero buildings, greenhouse gas emissions, net zero buildings by basically just, once it's up, how much energy it emits. But I think what I wanted San Jose to do is measure it from the building materials as well, because oftentimes the construction of the building is a greenhouse gas emitter, but then we don't capture that because we're just measuring the net zero once the building's up and running.
I can speak to the numbers that are in the plan right now, and I think that's a really astute question, and it relates to the way community climate planning is typically done, and it looks at production-based inventories, and what you've just described leans more into a consumption-based inventory, where you're looking at emissions that occur outside of your community to provide the goods and services that you're consuming. So the quantification in this instance is only looking at net zero energy or zero net energy buildings from the perspective of they don't consume or they don't emit emissions from their operational, from an operational perspective, but it does not consider embodied energy that goes into the construction of buildings. And that's because those emissions are not represented in the community-wide inventory anyway. So from an accounting perspective, you wouldn't want to include a reduction that's not represented on the other side of the ledger in the first place. But that is a really good distinction and an important consideration as well.
Okay, well, I don't want to mess up your ledger, but I think in terms of greenhouse gas emissions, if we could move towards raising the bar so that the construction would have to consider more green materials, and I keep on pushing for cross-laminated timber and other things like that, but that would be good for San Jose and for the world. And I'll yield with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Diep. And you'll be happy to know I just talked to a developer yesterday who's working on using timber for high-rise right here in downtown. So
excellent, can't wait.
Get it underway. All right, any other comments or questions? Okay, let's vote then.
Jimenez,
Yes.
Flowers,
Aye.
Yep,
Aye.
Roscoe, Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Arenas,
Yes.
Foley,
Aye.
Camus,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Ricardo,
Aye.
going back to Crosco, marking absent. Thank you.
Thank you. We will go to open forum now. Mr. Beekman.
I listened to the Downtown West study session yesterday on YouTube last night. Please continue to listen to the ideas, guidance, and advice of the Airport Commission about lower, more practical building heights and other developmental questions. They also may have some good thinking with the current issues of crane heights and use. How can union groups like LIUNA and homeless advocacy have a more open role in the SOG public meeting process? It has been my understanding that converting the SAP Center for the Future of Diridon Station needs has always been able to offer something of like the ideas of a new Sharks Arena built around Spartan Stadium or the Via Stadium area. And to note, the SOG public meeting process has probably created interesting new ideas to the Brown Act and how dialogue can be more accessible in the large public meeting process. I hope these good legal ideas can be able to help the future of all sides of the redistricting questions and its public meeting process in San Jose at this time. And to conclude, Google and its current supplying of much national security technology at the border is actually defining the future of this country's border walls. This is simply a lot to balance with the entire San Jose downtown project. As this particular project is called Downtown West, I hope we can always be considering and including East San Jose's part. As it simply should be a part of the future purpose of Google to ask East San Jose, among other things, how to bring inventive, decent-minded human and civil rights ideas to the more cold, exact cyberspace border walls and rules of technology, surveillance, data collection, and its economic development. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe, person with the phone number ending 1367. Sir, I believe, or ma'am, I believe your phone is muted. There you go.
Okay, there we go. This is Lillian from District 6. How is everybody? I'm still here. It was a very, I know it's kind of funny, but not really. I'm talking about the World Health Organization Proclamation on Domestic Violence 2.14. I have been intently listening to that tonight. It is basically an endemic in our society. The Me Too movement brought that to the forefront of communication. Basically, women are just saying, we're not going to take it anymore. I mean, it is a major, major issue with women. Even Kamala Harris, when she was senator, she decided to, with Senator Feinstein, to push for the CARES Act, which is the proclamation of Prevention and Services Act that deals with justice centers, and to give more money for women who have been in domestic violence situations and use it more in the legal sense. When I listened to the mayor tonight in the San Jose Police Department, I really feel that you need a coordinated effort to focus more on the prevention of domestic violence. It's a major issue, and you need to have leadership by the city council. It's not something that you can say, well, we'll push it on to the county and the county can figure out the statistics. No, with the CARES Act, there is money involved, and that should go to more on the prevention. It's kind of an issue that affects not just poor people, Latino women, Black women, but it affects higher stratosphere of our structure of our society. And that includes people on the city council who may not want to discuss that issue publicly, but we all know somebody, whether it's a friend, a relative, a sister or brother, who has been in some kind of situation, whether it's even young people who have been in situations where they didn't understand what was happening and they were in fact in a situation where it could be very violent. So please revisit this issue, use the money from the CARES Act, and show the leadership that the city council has, especially with a quorum of women on it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, the meeting is adjourned.